I never dreamed that I, a notorious global fugitive, would be reborn into a prestigious family of military and police officers. My grandfather and father are both high-ranking officials. My grandmother is a renowned expert in criminal investigation. Even my mom is a world-famous forensic pathologist. Being reborn into such a family, I feel an immense amount of pressure. But since I know criminal methods inside out, when I saw the cold serial murder case from 10 years ago, the eerie elevator murder case, and even the cannibalism case that shocked the world, I proved to everyone that I am not just the young master of a police family, but also the king of the criminal and forensic worlds. I rubbed my temples, put down my chopsticks, and wanted to take a walk in the yard. Just as I reached the door, Mom rushed in. She glanced at the breakfast on the table and smiled with satisfaction. Not bad, not bad. Yi-Yang, you've finally gotten rid of those bad habits from before. Mom will give you a reward. A reward? I leaned in, only to find her pinching my cheek, twisting it around, twisting it a few more times, twisting it again. I shouted, "This reward is way too weird. Haha, Mom doesn't have time to prepare a gift for you right now. I'll owe you one. A major case has appeared in Kyoto. I have to head back soon." She smiled and turned to go upstairs. In her haste, the files in her hand fell to the floor. I walked over to pick them up, while teasing her. "No wonder Dad says it's the world's biggest miracle that you managed to become a forensic doctor. Look at this. This clumsiness is exactly how Dad described you." Mom's face turned red, and she said irritably, "You brat. You even dare to make fun of me, huh? Forget it. I don't have much time. I'm in a rush to get back." She didn't say anything more, but I suddenly grabbed her hand. While picking up the files just now, I clearly saw a photo of a crime scene. Frowning, I said to Mom, "Mom, this case isn't simple." My mom, Su Wanrong, looked at me in surprise and said, "What do you know? Go mind your own business. School starts in a few days. Hurry up and review your lessons." If Su Wanrong hadn't reminded me, I really would have forgotten that I am now just a 17-year-old high school student, and I'll be in my senior year in the second half of the year. But my attention was still on that photo. I held it and looked closely. This killer is a bit of a psychopath. Usually, when someone dies, their head just hits the ground. The victim's head did hit the ground, but after death, the killer still used a knife to leave multiple slash marks on the body, especially on the front of the body. This is a deep-seated grudge. Hearing this, Su Wanrong shook her head with a bitter smile. "That's where you're wrong. The killer must be a repeat offender in Mom's mind, right? She must be going upstairs to get files regarding this serial murder case from 10 years ago." As soon as I finished speaking, Su Wanrong's eyes widened, and she asked in surprise, "How do you know that?" "Mom, you've always kept records of various cases in your study, and the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago is a sore spot for you and Dad. The gruesome state of the female corpse, and the way you're rushing upstairs. It's not hard to guess you're going for the files." Not bad, not bad. I didn't know you were so observant." "Then tell me more. Why do you think the killer had a grudge against the victim? In the serial case from 10 years ago, every single piece of evidence proved the killer acted on a whim. According to your theory, based solely on the knife wounds, shouldn't we rule out the suspect from 10 years ago?" I didn't say this case wasn't done by the killer from 10 years ago. Maybe he really did have a grudge against this woman. I smiled and didn't say more. Su Wanrong looked at my retreating back, then suddenly walked over and grabbed my wrist, saying with a smile, "Mom needs your help with something." I turned back and asked, "What is it?" "Come on, come with me to the hospital for an autopsy." I was dragged all the way to the hospital by Su Wanrong, and just as we reached the hospital entrance, surrounded by a crowd of cameras and microphones, "Professor Su is here. Professor Su, regarding the killer in this torture murder case, do you think it's really the same person as the one from the serial torture murder case 10 years ago?" Professor Su, with a similar murder case appearing after 10 years, as the lead forensic pathologist back then, and since becoming a forensic doctor, the only case where you couldn't find a single clue. "Do you have anything to say?" Surrounded, the reporters were talking incessantly, firing question after question. Su Wanrong's brows furrowed slightly. Autopsies were Su Wanrong's strength, but dealing with reporters was not. What the reporters said wasn't wrong. In Su Wanrong's forensic career, there was a blemish. She was at the peak of her fame then, yet she had no clue about that serial murder case. At this moment, she seemed slightly irritated, but unexpectedly, a hand reached out from behind her. I stepped in front of Su Wanrong. Anyone standing in the way was pushed aside by me. "The murder comes first. The reporting comes second. The case just happened. What report do you reporters want? Do you know that every second you waste could allow the criminal to escape? Everyone move!" My face was cold and stern. I pulled Su Wanrong and walked straight ahead. The reporters were stunned for a moment. Once they snapped out of it, someone asked, Who's that boy? The professor's student? So arrogant. That's Yang, the eldest son of the Yi family. He's protecting his mother, so what if he's arrogant? Exactly, young Master Yi is right. The murder comes first, the reporting comes second. The case just happened. You keep asking questions, aren't you just wasting time? By then, Su Wanrong and I had arrived at the hospital morgue entrance. Su Wanrong pushed open the morgue door. Inside were a few officers and forensic doctors, recording the details of the body. Seeing us arrive, everyone straightened up and walked over. Professor Su, you're here. Oh, young Master Yi is here too. Everyone was incredibly surprised by my presence. I simply nodded and walked over to the woman. My gaze swept over her body, examining her from top to bottom. Just as the officers were about to speak, they saw Su Wanrong shake her head to stop them. In less than half a minute, I looked away and asked, "Where is the victim's family?" Mr. Yi, the victim came to the capital from out of town. We've already contacted the family, and they are on their way, an officer replied. I asked again, "Did the victim usually live alone?" Su Wanrong answered, "The victim's name is Huang Fei, 27 years old, a supervisor at a design company. She had 2 close girlfriends in the capital, and lived with her fiancé. Their relationship was very good." I just gave a brief, "Oh," after listening, and then put on gloves. Everyone's expression immediately turned to surprise and suspicion. Even Su Wanrong looked completely stunned. She knew better than anyone that I had never touched a corpse. Normally, when people see a body, they feel some level of fear. But looking at my posture, it seemed I intended to perform the autopsy myself. At that moment, a forensic doctor working under Su Wanrong immediately stepped forward, smiling and saying, "Young Master Yi, this body has already been examined." I ignored him. With my gloved hand, I disregarded the blood and gripped a stab wound on the female corpse. Under everyone's astonished gaze, I used these 2 fingers to peel back the flesh at the wound. "Yi Yang, don't push yourself. You've never done an autopsy. You might feel sick," Su Wanrong said with some concern. I then released the bloody flesh and said, "The time of death should be between 3:30 and 4 a.m. The fatal blow was the stab to the chest. This single blow took her life. The weapon used was a blade about 13 centimeters long and about 2 centimeters wide, but the dagger wasn't very sharp, likely due to frequent use. Therefore, the flesh cut by the knife, there will be some signs of struggling, followed by chaotic slashes, down to the legs and feet. The knife marks become shallower. By the time I finished speaking, I turned around to see everyone staring at me blankly. I smiled gently. I walked up to Su Wanrong and asked, "Mom, what's wrong?" Su Wanrong reached out with both hands, rubbed my cheeks hard, and exclaimed, "No way, are you really my Yi Yang?" I rolled my eyes and said speechlessly, "Who else would I be? Impossible. Shouldn't my Yi Yang be a bit clumsy? How could he observe for just 10 seconds and be able to examine the victim's wounds, and without a single mistake?" Su Wanrong was still in shock, but I didn't say much and instead looked at the old officer. "Officer Zhang, please have everyone related to the deceased come and see the body. Consider it their final farewell." Officer Zhang took a deep breath, his expression becoming much more solemn. "All right, I'll get on it right away." After Officer Zhang left, I also stepped out for a while. As soon as I left, the forensic doctors and officers in the morgue all started discussing. Young Master Yi truly grew up, immersed in a master's environment. That autopsy skill just now is truly admirable. It's really incredible. Aside from Professor Su and Senior Chen Feng, I've never encountered anyone who could, with just 10 seconds of observation, identify the weapon, fatal wound, and time of death. Professor Su, your son is truly a genius. Although smiling in front of a deceased person is generally considered inappropriate for Su Wanrong, who was long accustomed to death, she felt immensely proud at this moment. Every mother wants their child to be outstanding and exceptional. Su Wanrong smiled and responded to everyone. Not long after, Zhang Jian brought in everyone related to the deceased. 2 best friends and the fiancé entered the morgue together. Looking at Huang Fei's body, all 3 had the same expression. After a moment of daze, they burst into tears, especially Huang Fei's boyfriend, who eventually collapsed on the floor as if he'd lost his soul. I stood outside the morgue, observing the 3 of them. After a while, I pushed the door open. Su Wanrong knew my intention, so she whispered, "Are you certain the killer in this case is unrelated to the killer from 10 years ago?" "Of course not. The prime suspect is definitely the killer from the serial torture murder case 10 years ago, but anyone related to the deceased is equally a suspect." After speaking, I walked up to the 3 of them, staring directly at Huang Fei's boyfriend, and asked, How many years have you known each other? The man paused for several seconds, before finally looking up at me. Seeing that I was just a teenager, he lowered his head again. I shrugged, and asked the two women, "What about you? How long have you known her?" "We've known Huang Fei for 4 or 5 years. We used to live together." Later, when Huang Fei and Li Hong began discussing marriage, "That's when we moved out," one woman said. The other girl added, "I really can't believe that Sister Huang Fei would encounter such a thing. Who on earth could be so heartless?" Huang Fei's boyfriend, Li Hong, finally spoke, but his voice kept trembling. "It's all my fault. I should have stayed with her last night. Why did I leave? If I had stayed with her until she got home from work, this wouldn't have happened." Hearing this, I immediately squatted in front of him and asked, "Has she been very busy lately?" Her clock-out time was after 3 a.m. "She's been busy with the design lately. She only just got some ideas a few days ago, and has been working overtime these past few days to finish it. I kept telling her not to rush, but she's too ambitious about her work." Nothing I said worked. As Li Hong spoke, he became emotional once again. "It's my fault. Why couldn't I have stayed a bit longer?" I stood up and said, "Officer Zhang, let them go back and rest. I'm not leaving. I want to stay with Fei Fei." We decided to get married during the National Day holiday. It was only 2 or 3 months away. "Why did this happen?" Li Hong screamed hysterically. The security officers sighed deeply upon hearing this. Even Su Wanrong, who was used to scenes of life and death, let out a long sigh and said, "What a pity." I watched everything calmly. I had orchestrated many heinous crimes, leading the world's most elite agencies to issue a warrant for my arrest. As a former crime king, no one understands the psychology of a criminal better than I do. What the eyes see might be true, but it could also be a lie. I gave the security officers a look. The officers helped Li Hong and Huang Fei's friends leave the room. Su Wanrong stepped forward and asked, "Yi Yang, did you sense something?" I didn't speak. I simply took out from Su Wanrong's file folder that set of photos again. The photos taken at the scene. The photos were clear, covering every angle. I laid out the entire set of photos in order, spreading them out together. After staring at them for 2 minutes, I said, "I can be certain this case is different from the serial case 10 years ago." As soon as I said this, Su Wanrong and the officers were shocked once again. "Young Master Yi, regardless of the method or the level of brutality, this murder case is identical to the one from 10 years ago." "Yes, and on the woman's back, the 5 words I have returned were left. The killer back then would also leave such a gruesome mark. The only difference is that this time it's text, whereas before it was numbers. In the serial torture murder case 10 years ago, every victim was female, and on the back of every victim, a mark would be left. 10 years ago, numbers like 9 to 1 and 9 to 2 were left on each back. After it reached 9 to 9, the killer stopped the slaughter." Listening to the officer's rebuttals, I sneered. "Are you sure the level of brutality in this case is the same as before?" "On Huang Fei's body, there are at least 5 vital spots where the entire blade was plunged in. But 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. The knife wounds on the victims 10 years ago were all random slashes, but the depth of each cut was roughly the same. They only cut through the flesh, which proves that the killer 10 years ago was very skilled with knives, and his profession must have been related to blades," one officer subconsciously replied. "Even if the depth of the wounds varies, that's not enough to rule it out, is it? The killer 10 years ago was clever, or rather, he was just playing a game with you officers and the forensic examiners. But this current one is merely a poor imitation, just blindly copying the original." While speaking, I took from Su Wanrong's folder an old photograph. It was a photo of one of the victims' backs. My finger pointed to the victim's bound wrists and said, "I won't waste my time arguing with you." After saying that, I walked out. Su Wanrong spoke up. "Yi Yang, where are you going?" I grinned. "I think I know where to find the killer." I went straight to Huang Fei's company. Her body had been found at 4:50 a.m., so the company staff didn't know yet that their manager had met with a tragedy. I pushed open the doors of the design firm where Huang Fei worked. I entered just as it was time to start work. However, the people sitting at their desks all looked like they hadn't fully woken up. Everyone looked at me, Su Wanrong, and the 2 officers with utter astonishment. One person stood up, walked over with a smile and asked, "Officers, may I ask what this is about?" "We're here to ask about your manager Huang Fei," I said. Upon hearing that, the person realized, "Oh, you're looking for Manager Huang. I'll go call her." "Haha, she's always the first one in the office. She must be in her office." I stopped the person and said, "No need to look. She's dead." That person, and everyone else in the company widened their eyes in horror, exclaiming, "What? Manager Huang is dead? How is that possible? She was perfectly fine yesterday. Yeah, how could this be? Manager Huang even stayed late to work last night. Her fiancé, Mr. Li, someone, has always been by her side." The entire company was filled with gasps of shock. The once quiet atmosphere became chaotic. I scanned everyone's faces. At this moment, the officer behind me, worried about wasting time, called out, "Everyone calm down. We are here to investigate the case. During these past few days, did you notice anything unusual about Huang Fei? Also, did she have any conflicts with anyone in the company? No need. Those who weren't in the office these past few days, please step forward first." Just as the officers finished speaking, I spoke up. Both the officers and Su Wanrong looked at me in surprise. I actually wanted to question those who weren't in the office. Su Wanrong whispered, "Yi Yang, it can't be that simple, right? The killer left no trace at the scene, which means they possess certain counter-surveillance skills. How could they leave themselves as a suspect?" I smiled without changing my expression and said, "I'm just speaking randomly." Soon 3 people stepped forward, 1 man and 2 women, all very young. The expressions on their faces all showed varying degrees of shock and sadness. One of the girls even had red eyes. I walked up to her. Just as I was about to speak, she couldn't hold it back and started crying. "Impossible! How could Sister Fei Fei die? She was such a good person. How could she die?" As the girl spoke, tears continued to stream down. I took a tissue from a table, handed it to her, and said, "You must have been very close to Huang Fei. I'm Sister Fei Fei's assistant. I was sick these past 2 days, and she strongly insisted that I go home and rest. I just felt a bit better today and rushed to work. I didn't expect something like this to happen." I could tell that the girl was indeed quite sick. She kept coughing, and her voice had a heavy nasal tone from a cold. I nodded slightly, and didn't ask further. I soon walked up to the other young man. The latter took a deep breath, and said, "I was on a business trip these past few days, and just returned today. And you?" I asked the last girl. This girl was somewhat special. Su Wanrong's gaze was almost constantly fixed on her, because when the news of Huang Fei's death was announced, on this girl's face, although it was filled with shock, there was also a hint of pleasure. Although that pleasure vanished quickly, it didn't escape the gaze of Su Wanrong, who had spent 20 years talking to the dead. Her intuition told her that this girl must have had a rift with Huang Fei. At this time, I was also observing this beautiful girl, and asked, "And you? What was the reason?" "Something came up back in my hometown, so I took some leave." "How many days?" "1 week," the girl replied. A look of realization appeared on my face, and I smiled. 7 days of leave. That's quite a lot. May I ask if there was something major in your hometown?" "No, I was just tired, and wanted to rest for a while," the girl said. I hummed in response, then turned around and said, 7 days. If a person were to study another person's crime method, it's enough in a way. At least, copying it exactly is possible. Hearing my words, many people looked at the girl in astonishment. One of the deputy managers exclaimed, "Officer, what do you mean by that?" When Huang Fei died, her whole body was bound with ropes, head touching the floor and hips arched high, with blood stains left on her back. Anyone who has lived in Kyoto for over a decade should find it easy to know what this means. Just as I finished speaking, a middle-aged man widened his eyes and exclaimed, "That serial torture murder case!" "Yes, exactly the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago." My tone suddenly became sinister. "The state of your manager Huang after death is identical to the 9 victims from 10 years ago." And the girl, who just showed a hint of pleasure, shuddered immediately upon hearing this. The pleasure in her eyes had completely vanished. When she suddenly looked up and met my gaze, her voice began to stutter. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm not the one who killed her." I let out a cold laugh and said, "But you have a grudge against Fei, right? She did slap me in the face, but I wouldn't go as far as killing her." The girl tilted her head up and said, "I only said you have a grudge against Huang Fei, but I didn't say you killed her." No need to be so agitated. After she spoke, almost everyone's gaze was fixed on the girl. The latter grew increasingly panicked, looking left and right. Su Wanrong walked to my side and whispered, "What is it? Do you suspect her? I'm just feeling quite reflective." Just now, when we mentioned Huang Fei was dead, a look of great satisfaction appeared in her eyes. For a moment, I almost thought it was her, but now I understand everything. Having said that, I asked the sick girl, I almost forgot, what is your name? The sick girl was suddenly stunned, then said in a somewhat hoarse voice, my name is Wang Wei. All right, beautiful Wang Wei, please come with us to the hospital's morgue, I said with a smile. Why me? I have no grudge against Sister Fei Fei. The smile on my face grew even weirder as I said, I didn't say you have a grudge against her. Didn't you say you had a great relationship with her? You should go see her one last time. Alright, I'll go with you. The girl finally nodded. I smiled and suddenly grabbed Wang Wei's hand, and said, even if everyone sees how pitiful you look, rest assured, the killer is definitely you. At this moment, the office fell deathly silent. All eyes were pinned on me and on Wang Wei, whom I was holding. Finally, someone reacted. Jian, you must be mistaken. How could Wang Wei kill Manager Huang? Didn't you say the case is identical to the serial murder case from 10 years ago? The killer should be that person from 10 years ago. Besides, there must be a motive for murder, and Wang Wei has no motive. That's right, Wang Wei is even afraid of bugs. Manager Huang even helped her when she was in debt from gambling. It was Manager Huang who paid it off for her. The colleagues defended her one after another, but I immediately looked at the employee who mentioned gambling. She gambled? She accidentally fell into online gambling, and last time the creditors caused a scene at the company. Manager Huang was the one who settled it. The other person was stunned. I sneered inwardly, my gaze locking onto Wang Wei like an eagle. I really hope this isn't a story of the farmer and the snake. Take her to the hospital, and have another team search her residence, I ordered. Wang Wei's face suddenly turned pale. I'm just going to see Sister Fei Fei one last time. Why are you treating me like the killer? You couldn't catch the person 10 years ago, and now that they've struck again, you don't go after them. So why target me? Oh, you're quite knowledgeable about the case from 10 years ago. I narrowed my eyes, and Su Wanrong beside me also became alert. Wang Wei said urgently, is there something wrong with what I said? If you had caught the killer, how could Sister Fei Fei have died? Still won't admit it? I took a step forward. The calluses on your hands are new, which means you've been doing manual labor recently. You're an assistant. Does the company need you to move things? She opened her mouth to argue, but I wouldn't give her the chance. The new calluses are one thing. Secondly, when we just said that the way Huang Fei died was exactly the same as 10 years ago, why did you suddenly relax? Especially when we were targeting this female colleague. Your eyes were full of glee. I know the psychology of criminals too well. My experiences from my past life made me realize that the killer is often the most unlikely person. Only a criminal will desperately try to clear themselves. When Wang Wei came in, she cried so heartbreakingly that even Su Wanrong was moved, but I don't trust tears. Emotion is what interferes most with judgment. Wang Wei's lips trembled. I didn't have those emotions. You saw it wrong. I curled my lip and said to my colleague, call Li Hong. Ask if Wang Wei borrowed money from Huang Fei recently. The call connects. Li Hong's voice sounds exhausted. Yes, she asked half a month ago. She tried a few more times after that, but Huang Fei refused them all and said if she couldn't quit, she would have to fire her. I thanked him calmly. Li Hong asked in surprise, you suspect Wang Wei? Didn't you say the killer was the one from 10 years ago? We never confirmed the killer was the same person, only that the cases were similar. I stared at Wang Wei, saying word by word, can I understand this as, you were refused money multiple times, and knew Huang Fei intended to fire you, therefore you held a grudge, and committed the murder? Wang Wei widened her eyes, her lips trembled. It took several seconds before she squeezed out a sentence. I did hate Sister Fei Fei, but later I came to terms with it. She was right. And where is your evidence? Can you convict me based on these guesses? She even smiled faintly. Don't be in a hurry. The evidence will be here soon, in just a few hours. You wouldn't have had time to destroy all the traces, right? Huang Fei died after 3:30 a.m. It's only 8 or 9 in the morning now. She needs time to cover it up. If she's in this state now, she couldn't possibly have killed anyone, let alone imitate the method from 10 years ago. I looked straight at her. No need to go to the hospital. Go straight to your place. The people there should have found a clue by now. Wang Wei's jaw tightened. This movement made me even more certain. I ordered, take her away. Wang Wei's place is only a 10-minute drive from the company. She was unusually quiet on the way. The car arrived downstairs. 2 security vehicles were already waiting. A middle-aged security officer saw us and hurried over. Professor Su. Young Master Yi, how could we let you keep rushing around? Su Wanrong shook her head. Assisting in solving the case is my duty. The Bureau notified you, right? The Municipal Bureau has ordered, because the case is highly similar to the one 10 years ago. They require the case to be solved within a week. And, he paused. And what? Mayor Xing of the Municipal Committee emphasized in today's meeting. If another murder of this kind occurs, every department of the Municipal Bureau will be held accountable. Su Wanrong sneered. It won't take a week. It can be solved today. Everyone was shocked. Solved today? To be precise, within an hour. In 1 hour. I looked at Wang Wei. Right, Miss Wang. She remained silent. At that moment, a security officer came downstairs. Report. No suspicious items were found in the suspect's home. No murder weapon. Not even a knife. Wang Wei finally showed a hint of a smile. Officer, do you believe me now? Don't be in a hurry. Let's go sit in your house for a bit. My tone was relaxed. By the way, is there water? I've been talking for so long. I'm a bit thirsty. Su Wanrong smiled slightly. People of the Yi family never lose heart in front of a suspect. Wang Wei whispered. We took her up to the 4th floor. Security officers were already searching the room, but it wasn't tossed around. I saw the water dispenser, first poured a glass for Su Wanrong, and walked around the room with a glass of water myself. When I walked to the bathroom, I stopped, staring at the floor. Su Wanrong approached. Yi Yang, what are you looking at? I pointed to the ground. Say, don't you think there's a lot of water on the floor? Miss Wang, do you have a habit of showering early? Wang Wei's eyes flickered. Yes. What's wrong? There's water in the bathroom. And there's a problem. Of course there's no problem with the water. The problem is, you're this sick, and you still took a bath this morning. Admirable courage. After saying that, I went straight to open the only bedroom door. The room wasn't large. 1 bedroom. 1 living room. It seemed she didn't live extravagantly. Maybe all her money was lost gambling. But when I opened the door, my gaze suddenly froze. In Wang Wei's room stood a life-sized old rag doll. It looked like it had been squeezed often. Give me a piece of rope. I immediately turned around and shouted. Wang Wei's body shuddered. Su Wanrong seemed to guess something, but remained silent. Though the security officer was confused, he still handed over the rope. I took it, picked up the doll, and wrapped it along the faint but existing marks on its body. Wang Wei's face was already as pale as paper. When I pulled the doll's hands backward, "How can this be?" someone exclaimed. "Why wouldn't it?" I replied in a deep voice, my hands never stopping. The doll gradually took on a binding posture similar to Wang Fei's. Before it was fully tied, Wang Wei suddenly screamed hysterically. "Stop tying it!" Wang Wei slumped to the floor, bowing her head and sobbing. I knelt down, looking at her. "Is there anything else you want to say now? Why did you decide it was me from the start?" She looked up, her face pale. "Why could you see the marks on the doll at a glance, and tie it like that?" A knowing smile appeared on Su Wanrong's face. "The case is solved." I remained kneeling, speaking calmly. "It's simple. Huang Fei didn't just help you at the company. When I went to announce the death, everyone was surprised first, except for you. You started sobbing immediately. Isn't that normal?" Her voice was weak, but you showed no surprise. Later, when I saw the calluses on your hands, I became more certain. Until someone mentioned you were a compulsive gambler, I was absolutely sure you were the killer. I paused. Unfortunately, this is truly a story of the farmer and the snake. In my past life, though I was a criminal, I never did things like this. A sinister smile suddenly appeared on Wang Wei's fragile face. "What farmer and snake? She helped me once, and I paid her back. Why couldn't she help one last time? Was she really so heartless? To watch me be beaten to death by debt collectors? Since we're going to die, let's die together." Her face became distorted. "Do you know, it's not like I gave nothing in return when I begged her. I gave her all my design ideas. But her? She took the ideas, yet she wanted to fire me. Someone like that, doesn't she deserve to die?" I was somewhat surprised. Whether it was a coincidence or fate, her phone rang at that moment. "Answer it," I said. "You're not in a state where you can't take a call." "Hello? Who is it?" she answered. A pleasant female voice came from the other end. "Hello? Is this Ms. Wang Wei from Shanghai Design Company? We are the review panel for the Radiance Cup Design Competition. Your work has met the requirements. Please arrive at the competition venue within 3 days to compete for a spot in the finals." Wang Wei froze. Su Wanrong and I were also stunned. "Hello? Ms. Wang, can you hear me? Hello? Ms. Wang?" Wang Wei's whole body trembled. She couldn't speak. Tears flowed uncontrollably. She screamed hoarsely. "Why didn't you tell me? Why?" I stood up, my tone cold. "In my eyes, you deserve to die. But if I can get out of prison, I'll make amends then." Su Wanrong signaled the officer to handcuff her. After Wang Wei stood up, she asked in a low voice. I really was that snake. Yi Yang, did you know everything all along? The rag doll was just not handled in time. Right, your illness was caused by pouring cold water on yourself after the crime, and spending the night under the air conditioner, correct? I asked. She opened her mouth slightly, and finally nodded silently. Ever since the first time she rejected me, and after I was beaten by debt collectors, I started planning. Her voice grew calm. I searched through all the files of the case from 10 years ago, and spent over half a month learning. 2 days ago, I looked for her again, and she gave me a piece of her mind, so I decided to act. After killing her last night, I was afraid of being suspected, so I came back to pour water on myself, just as you said, and used the air conditioner, the rag doll. You were right. I used it to practice tying knots for half a month, but because it was too big, I didn't dare throw it away, and I thought no one would suspect me. After she finished everything, I had no interest in listening further. Captain Zhang, take her away. I turned around. Mom, you can arrange the press conference now. Announce that last night's torture murder case has been solved. Otherwise, if it takes too long, the public will start doubting our family's capability. Su Wanrong nodded with relief. Wang Wei was escorted out. When she reached the door, she stopped. Yi Yang, and everyone else, if I can truly make it out of prison alive, I will make amends. If you have the chance, please go to Huang Fei's grave and say sorry for me. She seemed to want to say more, but eventually swallowed her words. After she was taken away, everyone remaining in the room burst into applause. Su Wanrong gave a thumbs up, her eyes shining. Son, Mom is proud of you today. Later I found out, after I took Wang Wei away, my father Yi Jingbang's office was solemn. Case files were spread out before him, his gaze sweeping across the worried faces. Everyone, share your thoughts. Father spoke, his tone calm. The Jingdu Municipal Bureau has already announced that an explanation will be given to the public within the week. As he spoke, a faint smile involuntarily appeared at the corner of his mouth. Someone immediately said in a deep voice, this Zhao Qingyang is truly impatient. It's understandable. The case happened in their jurisdiction. They have the right. Father didn't seem to mind. The priority now is solving the case. The case. How do you analyze it? A man wearing glasses spoke up. This case is complex in some ways, and simple in others. The complexity lies in its similarity to the serial torture murder cases from 10 years ago. The simplicity lies in the murderer from 10 years ago, likely reappearing. He paused, and looked at Father. When the case happened 10 years ago, Minister Yi, you were the director of the Jingdu Municipal Bureau. For this case to appear now, it is truly, Father waved his hand, just discuss the case. You were all part of my original team. No one knows that case better than we do. The early morning murder, after fermenting today, will surely shock the whole city. If the case isn't solved within the deadline, the entire system will be punished. His expression became solemn, but despite all the talk, no one offered any meaningful suggestions. Watching everyone look at each other in confusion, Father's heart sank. Perhaps years of comfort had eroded their former passion. Just as he was feeling frustrated, there was a knock at the door. Assistant opens the door. A security officer rushes in excitedly. Chief, great news! What's the rush? Can't you see we're in a meeting? Someone shouts angrily. The officer says awkwardly, I'm sorry, I was too excited. I just received word. The torture murder case from this morning has been solved. Sudden silence falls over the office. 2 or 3 seconds later, everyone suddenly stands up, eyes wide with shock. You're not lying? The killer from 10 years ago was caught? Thank God. That bastard is finally behind bars. Surprise and joy flash across Father's face. But the officer looks troubled. What is it? There's a twist in the case. Chief, the killer isn't the one from 10 years ago. Impossible. The binding technique, the victim's condition, the bloody words on the back, all point to 10 years ago. Correct. We are all too familiar with that binding technique. It's been unique to that one person for decades. It can't be wrong. Father is also filled with doubt. Just then, a voice comes from outside the door, filled with pride. As expected, you all are just like me, fooled by the technique. While everyone else was blind, he alone saw the truth. Yi Zhengbang, your Yi family, has produced a fine son. The only one who dares call Father by his name is Mother, Su Wanrong. Wanrong, what do you mean by that? The case is related to Yi Yang? Father feels as if he's fallen into a fog. Mother nods. Her tone is certain. The killer's binding technique was only roughly the same. We studied the victim for who knows how long, but Yi Yang took only 3 seconds to find the difference. And as for the killer, he only took a little over an hour to successfully bring them to justice. These words shock everyone. They spent hours analyzing details. While someone saw through it in 3 seconds, they used every piece of equipment and experience to search, while someone brought the killer in within an hour. That person is me. After the shock wore off, father's laughter echoes through the office. Although others feel embarrassed, they are also happy for him, as expected of a great family. Young Master Yi this year is only 17, right? Mother nods with a smile. The man takes a deep breath, gives a thumbs up. Impressive. I, Wang, am the first to admit defeat, but sister-in-law, if the real killer isn't the one from 10 years ago, then who is it? The victim, Huang Fei's assistant, Wang Wei, a girl who looks quite ordinary. Everyone is shocked again. All morning, they never suspected Huang Fei's colleagues. The outsider sees clearly. The insider is blind. What a perfect outsider sees clearly, father immediately says. Notify Zhao Qingyang immediately. Hold a press conference to announce the case. Wanrong, have Yi Yang attend in person. He stands tall and proud, but mother chuckles, shakes her head. Yi Zhengbang, my precious son said, the Yi family's revenge is not too late after 10 years. The 1-year limit is still plenty long. The face the Yi family lost back then, he intends to win it back. Father takes a sharp breath, his voice full of disbelief. You mean, Yi Yang wants to dig out the killer from 10 years ago? I return home, and go straight into the study. The cook, Aunt Wang, calls me for dinner. I answer her, telling her not to disturb me. I find the case files from 10 years ago. They are very thick, but I read patiently. September 16th, 2007, 6 a.m. A female body was found in Fengyang Park, Chaoguang District, Li Yuling. Head touching the ground, hips arched high. Death caused by severe head trauma. September 18th, 2007. Green belt of Qingguang Road, Ariang District. Huang Xiaya horizontal. Died of suffocation horizontal. September 29th, 2007. Under Chaoguang Bridge, Zhang Yuhuan. Thrown into the river after being sexually assaulted. I read through it all in one go. Closed the case file. Picked up a pen and wrote down all the clues. 10 years have passed. Today's criminal investigation methods are worlds apart. If the same case happened today, it might have been solved long ago. I was immersed in my notes, until my mother came in with lunch. Mom, why are you back? Nanny Wang called, saying you hadn't come down for lunch, and she was afraid of disturbing you, she said. Her gaze fell on what I wrote. Suddenly her eyes widened. Where did you find the criminal's psychological trajectory? I smiled. It's simple. You can tell from the blood-written words on the victims' backs. Look, from the start, he decided to kill 9 people. So on the first victim's back, he wrote 9 to 1. But looking at the photos, the handwriting was shaky in many places. This means he was also terrified the first time. Now look at the second victim. The blood-written words on the back are clearly steadier. As the number of victims increased, the killer's handwriting became scribbled towards the end. Why? Because when he killed the 9th person and still wasn't caught, in his mind, he felt he was a king who could despise all laws, from being terrified at first, to gradually getting used to it, to becoming arrogant and despising the public security system. This is the change in his state of mind from killing the first person to the 9th person, and he stopped after killing 9 people. Therefore, a previous conclusion can be overturned. My mother hadn't reacted yet. What conclusion? The killer didn't just choose targets randomly. He might be a pervert, but he is definitely a purposeful criminal. These 9 victims, whether directly or indirectly, must be connected. As the last word was written, my mother refuted almost without thinking. Impossible. These 9 people didn't know each other at all. Where would a connection come from? And this conclusion. Do you know who made it? Of course I know. My dad. I asked back. But the conclusion my dad made, must it necessarily be correct? Seeing she still didn't believe it, I continued, Mom, it's too simple. If the killer were just a simple serial killer, even if he decided to kill 9 people, he would only write a single, 9 or 8. There's no need to overcomplicate it by leaving 9 to 1, so I conclude. He chose the number of people from the start, and specifically chose the targets. These 9 victims must be connected to him. I spoke so thoroughly that my mother had to believe me. In her heart, my father was the most brilliant criminal investigation genius. But I wasn't wrong. My analysis all pointed to the 9 victims must be related. So what will you do next? She let out a long sigh. Find these 9 families, and investigate again. This time, get to the bottom of it. But it's been 10 years. They might not all be in the capital. Find as many as we can. If we find 3, that should be enough. After I finished speaking, I prepared to get up. Just 2 steps in, my mother grabbed me, looking menacing. Even if the sky falls, my precious son needs to fill his stomach first. Hurry up. Finish eating. Then your mom will go with you. If you don't finish, you're not allowed to leave. After lunch, my mother, Su Wanrong, and I went to the police station to check the household records. 10 years of change have indeed been significant. 3 families have permanently left Kyoto. The remaining 6 have mostly moved to new addresses. Kyoto has developed rapidly over the years. They went from being well-off families to becoming millionaires or even billionaires. The first house we visited was the home of the first victim, Liuling, now in a residential area on the outskirts of Kyoto. I rang the doorbell. The person who opened the door was a woman nearly 60. "Who are you? Is something the matter?" She looked confused. Mother smiled. "Ma'am, you don't remember me? I am Su Wanro." The old woman froze. Then her eyes welled up. "You're forensic Dr. Su." She hurriedly invited us inside. The house was fully furnished. It was clear they lived well. We sat down. She brought over tea, looking as if she wanted to say something but hesitated. I spoke directly. "Auntie, we came today about your daughter's matter from 10 years ago." Her body swayed. Her voice trembled. "It's been 10 years. Could there be new clues in the case?" "There are some new theories. I'll ask a few questions. Just tell me what you know." She nodded nervously. "Your daughter, Liuling, did she know the later victim, Huanya?" "No." "Then you and your husband and Huanya. Did you know the parents of Zhang Yuhuan and the others?" "No. Our families met after the incident, but we weren't close." As expected, Mother offered a few words of gentle comfort. I changed direction. "Auntie, do you still have any of her things at home? Can I take a look?" She shook her head. "Except for a few photos. The things she used in life were either buried with her or burned for her. I didn't dare keep them. It hurts too much to look at them. It's only human nature. Some choose to keep mementos. Some dare not touch memories." We didn't stay long. No valuable clues were found here. As we were leaving, Li Yuling's mother tightly held my mother's hand. "Forensic Dr. Su, tell me the truth. After 10 years, can this case still be solved?" Mother didn't know how to answer, but I spoke up. "Don't worry, Andy. Wait for notice within a week. The real killer will definitely be found." A week. Her withered expression suddenly brightened. Good, good. If they can be found, these 10 years won't have been spent waiting in vain." Walking out of the Li house, Mother was slightly reproachful. "Why are you so sure? We didn't get a single clue today." "It wasn't a total loss," I said. "At least we've ruled out the possibility of grudges from the previous generation. What we need to find next is the connection between Li Yuling, Huanya, and Zhang Yuhuan. What exactly linked these girls?" We went downstairs. Before we got in the car, Li Yuling's mother chased after us. "Forensic Dr. Su, wait!" She ran closer and pulled a shopping cart out of her pocket. "My daughter left this behind. She had topped up a lot of money in it, so it wasn't buried with her. I just suddenly remembered. Take a look, see if it's useful." I took the card. My gaze sharpened, and then I smiled. "Auntie, this thing is useful." After Li Yuling's mother went upstairs, watching me as if I'd found a treasure, she was full of confusion. "Yi Yang, what's the secret behind this card?" "Mom, sort through the identity and profession of every single victim." I only said this, and left the answer to her. The car drove for 10 minutes or so. Suddenly, my mother had a flash of inspiration. She snatched the shopping card. A few gilded characters on the card. Golden Department Store. This was a department store established 15 years ago. 3 years ago, due to the impact of e-commerce, it was phased out of Kyoto, but it was this small. That became a key clue. The third victim, Zhang Yuhuan, was once a sales assistant here. Old Wu, go to the site of the Golden Department Store. Without waiting for my mother to speak, I spoke directly. She suddenly understood, and laughed in frustration. "You little brat. You understood the moment you saw the card, yet you played mysterious. Made me sit in the car for 10 minutes for nothing. Don't you know your mom's time is tight? Getting it clear was worth more than these few minutes." I smiled. No one expected that between Li Yuling and Zhang Yuhuan, there was a connection to the Golden Department Store. 10 years ago was its heyday. Now we only need to find out, before the first victim was murdered, whether something happened there that could be linked to the case. If we can find it, the scope of the real killer can be greatly narrowed. Listening to this, she couldn't help but pinch my cheek, shaking it from side to side, in disbelief. "Is this really my precious son? Tell me, if it weren't for our family's reputation, would you have kept this hidden forever?" I smiled ambiguously. "I don't care about other things, but if my mom loses face, I'm the first one who won't allow it." My mother was overjoyed. She hugged my shoulder tightly. "Mom is truly happy. Now my son can finally protect me." The car became quiet. Soon, we arrived at the site of the Golden Department Store. It has now been renamed Dewan Plaza, integrating shopping, leisure, and entertainment. After getting out of the car, my mother said, "The mall owner has changed, but fortunately, the general manager is still Li Mingbo from the original Golden Department Store. From him, we should be able to get some clues." We walked straight to the general manager's office. The door opened. Li Mingbo greeted us with a smile. "Professor Su, young Master Yi, pleasure to meet you." After sitting down, he was full of curiosity. "The two of you coming to see me personally. I'm truly flattered. If there's anything, please speak freely. I will tell you everything I know." My mother got straight to the point. "We want to ask about one thing. 10 years ago, before September 16th, 2007. Did something major happen at the Golden Department Store?" Li Mingbo was stunned. "Oh, Golden Department Store. That was so long ago. Before September 16th, 2007. That range is too broad. How could I possibly remember?" "As expected. It's been 10 years. It's indeed not easy." But looking into his eyes, I gave a cold smile. Manager Li means he can't remember. In 2007, the Golden Department Store didn't seem to have any major incidents. My smile grew colder. "Fine then. Now, in our capacity as law enforcement, we require your assistance with the case. Organize all events from the 2007 Golden Department Store that had any impact. Organize them all, and deliver them to Minister Ye's office by 9 a.m. tomorrow. Every single detail. Anything that caused a stir. Not a single one must be missed." Li Mingbo's eyes widened. "Young Master Yi, what do you mean by that?" "Every single detail. Record everything." Manager Li's eyes told me, "You must have thought of something, but you're reluctant to speak." I stood up. "In that case, this is the only way. Tomorrow at 9. I hope Minister Yi can see your records." After saying that, I gave my mother a look and turned to leave. Just as we were leaving, Li Mingbo got anxious. "Forensic Dr. Su, young Master Yi, don't be in such a hurry. It's been too long. I need time to think. He's afraid of offending us. 10 of him wouldn't dare offend the Yi family. Otherwise, if the Yi family gets angry, this mall would be audited from morning till night, from normal operation to permanent closure. It's not impossible." My mother didn't really understand why I suddenly turned cold. Li Mingbo's words seemed correct. Something from so long ago. How could it be remembered so easily? But regardless of what I wanted to do, she was naturally on my side. I stopped in my tracks and looked back at him. "Manager Li, I've made myself clear. Today I'm asking about the torture murder case from 10 years ago. If you know something and don't report it, and it's found out later, you will have to bear legal responsibility." I turned around again. Li Mingbo grit his teeth. "Fine, I'll tell you. Before September 16th 10 years ago, something big did indeed happen at Golden Department Store, and it's related to me." I whipped around. "What happened? Why is it related to you?" "September 10th. 2007. A horrific elevator accident occurred at Golden Department Store. The victim at the time was my son." As he spoke, his eyes suddenly turned red. His expression became distorted. My mother and I were both stunned. "September 10th. That was 6 days before the first torture murder case occurred. Golden Department Store really did have a major incident. An elevator accident." "What happened?" I pressed him. Li Mingbo seemed to sink into pain, said weakly, "It was a weekend. My wife was busy, so I brought the child to the mall. But I didn't expect that he would run to play on the elevator when I wasn't looking. Even less did I expect the elevator to malfunction at that moment. He was completely crushed inside. His voice began to tremble. "Young Master Yi, do you know?" His head was crushed open. Brain matter splattered everywhere in the elevator shaft. By the end, he was like a desperate beast, his eyes full of rage. My mother whispered, "I'm sorry." Li Mingbo kept his head down, as if he didn't hear. I looked at him for a long time and sighed. "I'm sorry, Manager Li. I didn't expect it to be something like this." Heh. He looked up with red eyes and forced a smile. "May I ask young Master Yi and Forensic Dr. Su, is there anything else you want to know?" In that smile, there was hatred, as if asking, ripping open old wounds. "Is it fun?" We didn't linger, and left his office. Back in the car, seeing me lost in thought, my mother asked, "Yi Yang, what are you thinking about?" "I'm thinking, 6 days. How to connect Li Mingbo, his son, Li Yuling, Huan Ye, Zhang Yuhuan, all together." My mother's eyes widened. "You couldn't possibly be saying that Li Mingbo is the killer? Anyone related to the case from 10 years ago will be listed as a suspect. Li Mingbo is a suspect. Even everyone at Golden Department Store back then could be," I said in a low voice. "I'm just wondering if in 6 days he had the capacity to devise such a meticulous murder plan. I like to list everyone as a suspect first, then use the process of elimination to remove them. The one who remains is the killer." There were many hypotheses in the case files back then, but no one ever looked in the direction of Golden Department Store. This might be a new direction, or perhaps the most correct one. "Mom, check again which executives from Golden Department Store are still in Kyoto, especially find out clearly if Li Yuling and Huan Ye were present during the elevator incident. If there is footage from that time, that would be ideal. I'm afraid we'll have to go to the Public Security Bureau. I remember there seemed to be footage left behind. I just don't know if it's still preserved. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go now. Hearing this, the driver sped up, but my mother looked hesitant. Do we really have to go to the Public Security Bureau? That's Zhao Qingyang's territory. Aren't you afraid of alerting the enemy? Where there are people, there is conflict. Where there is conflict, there is struggle. Zhao Qingyang is no match for the Yi family, but behind him stands a family equal to the Yi family. Tripping each other up is a common occurrence. I understood my mother's concern, but I smiled confidently. Mom, don't forget, we are going to investigate a 10-year-old serial torture and murder case. Zhao Qingyang doesn't know we've caught the real killer of Huang Fei. Going now, what does it matter? My mother was stunned, then smiled sheepishly. The car soon arrived at the Public Security Bureau. Many people there knew my mother and stood up to greet her. Naturally, the news reached Zhao Qingyang. He arrived late, with a face full of smiles. Oh, Professor Su, Yi Yang, what wind blew you here? Could it be that you have new clues regarding this morning's murder? The moment we met, he couldn't wait to ask about the early morning case. My mother gave a forced smile. We are here to retrieve more detailed information about the torture murder case from 10 years ago. Director Zhao, the Bureau should still have it, right? Of course. Every case handled by the Public Security Bureau, regardless of size, is fully organized and archived. However, a case from 10 years ago is not easy to look up. You can go ask at the archives office. As long as you are searching, the entire Kyoto Public Security Bureau will provide convenience. He waved his hand with an air of great authority. But what era is this? The era of computer information. Though the archives office exists, most files have been permanently stored on computers. If we really look for paper records, heaven knows how long it would take. My mother's expression soured. Director Al, can't we check the computers? I'm truly sorry, but our Bureau's computer systems are all being optimized and upgraded today. They are temporarily unavailable. If you are willing to wait, you might as well wait and see. My mother wanted to argue further, but I spoke up with a smile. No need. We'll look in the archives ourselves. Young Master Yi, Professor Su has the authority to view the files, but you do not have that authority. Zhao Qingyang smiled faintly. I am indeed not part of the security system, and I have no authority to view classified files, but that won't stop me. Director Zhao's news is indeed a bit slow. I smiled slightly. I indeed wasn't part of the security system before, but just 1 second ago, I was appointed as a special investigator for this case. If you don't believe me, you can call Minister Yi to inquire. I won't say a few minutes ago, nor a few hours ago, but just 1 second ago. Zhao Qingyang's expression immediately turned sour. I see. I will inquire about it when the time comes. Someone come here. Take Professor Su and young Master Yi to the archives. Let them take their time searching. Mother is very familiar with this place. This used to be my father's office. She didn't let anyone lead her. She went to the archives on her own. There were 2 elderly security officers inside. After greeting them, I asked, where are the files for the 2007 serial torture murder case? Kept on which shelf? The 2 looked at each other. They smiled bitterly and said, there are so many archives every year. That case, we can't quite remember. Then where are the files from 10 years ago kept? On shelf C12. But there are hundreds, if not 1,000, files on there. How are you going to search through that? I didn't answer. I went straight to shelf C12 and started searching by month. Finding it wasn't actually hard. The hard part was finding case details among a pile of data. Mother and I stood on the ladder reviewing them. After some time, Mother finally let out a soft exclamation. We found it. Looking at so many files, Mother couldn't help but roll her eyes. This case dragged on for so long back then. I didn't expect it to have piled up this much. We only need to find the street interview data from back then. Our family has quite a few records of our own. No need to look at the extras. It would be a waste of time, I reminded her, but I didn't reach out to pull the files. Instead, I continued searching the shelf. Mother flipped through them quietly, focusing on the people interviewed on the street, especially the records of those who assisted the case. She didn't miss any. Time passed minute by minute. After a while, a strange smile suddenly appeared on my face. Mom, was there someone who gave a statement in that case, named Xiao Dajiang? Hearing this, Mother immediately searched the files. Yes. How do you know? I flourished the document in my hand and smiled with absolute certainty. Whether the torture murder case from 10 years ago can be solved depends on this Xiao Dajiang. The name Xiao Dajiang, neither Mother nor I were familiar with it, but as it appeared in the files, Mother's memory seemed to trace back to 10 years ago. That case shocked the entire city. At that time, Mother as the head of the autopsy team, was as concerned about the case as any security officer. She vaguely remembered that when Xiao Dajiang was called for a statement, she was present. Her memory gradually cleared. Mother put down the file. This Xiao Dajiang, if I remember correctly, should be the security captain of Golden Department Store. Correct. I handed her the file in my hand. Mother's gaze froze. This is the file for the elevator man-eating incident. I nodded. Yes. The record from the day Li Mingbo's son died. And guess what else I found? What? Tell me quickly. There are several statements here, and one of them is from Zhang Yuhuan. Mother took it and softly read the record. That day, Manager Li's child was playing on the elevator. I shouted at him several times, but he clearly heard me and ignored it, because the store manager called me. I was about to return to my post, but unexpectedly, as soon as I turned around, the elevator malfunctioned. The child's body was crushed inside, and his head completely exploded. Then why didn't you press the emergency stop button? I was terrified at the time. Everyone around me was terrified. I couldn't even remember it. These were all Zhang Yuhuan's statements from that year. They let us know exactly what happened that day. Li Mingbo's child played despite warnings. Everyone was hesitant because of his father's status. So it's not that they didn't speak. No one expected the elevator to malfunction then. First swallowing the child's foot. If someone had pressed the emergency stop button then, the worst outcome would have been amputation, not death. I began to analyze and organize in my mind, but when I thought of a possibility, I didn't say it out loud. Instead, I asked about something else. By the way, why is there no related video footage? Mother's expression became strange. The crime scenes of the serial torture murder case were almost all in areas without surveillance. It wasn't like it is now. The remaining footage was only scattered clips of the deceased. What I mean is, a human-eating elevator incident occurred in a large mall. Why isn't there a single piece of video evidence left? Mother was stunned. That's impossible. The case file shows that the officers in charge had checked the footage, but the data was not archived. I put the file back on the shelf, pulled my mother up. Let's go find Xiao Dajiang. My intuition tells me this person is the key link between the two cases. Finding him will surely lead us to the killer from 10 years ago. Mother said no more. We put back the files and immediately left the archives. Just as we stepped out, the two officers inside went to report to Zhao Qingyang. As for what they reported, we didn't care. No time to waste on internal politics. Leaving the police station, we went to the household registration department. Otherwise, in a city as vast as Kyoto, finding one person would be far from easy. The supervisor was very cooperative. After all, no one dared to disrespect the Yi family. But Xiao Dajiang, the name is too common. Xiao is not a rare surname. Dajiang is even more common. To get the news as soon as possible. Even when my mother called us for dinner, we didn't answer until 8 p.m. A staff member finally ran over with the files. Professor Su, young Master Yi, Xiao Dajiang has been found. We both stood up. Where does he live now? The staff member's expression became hesitant. I frowned. What's there to be hesitant about? It's not that it's hard to say. It's just that the Xiao Dajiang who served as the security captain at Golden Department Store. He paused, lowering his voice. 10 years ago, he had already died. On my face and my mother's, shock appeared simultaneously. In the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago, a crucial person, actually, 10 years ago, had already died. This was unexpected. Whether it was the torture murder case from 10 years ago, or the elevator tragedy of Li Mingbo's son, in my feeling, Xiao Dajiang had always been the link between them. In both cases, he had given statements. I didn't waste time, and immediately asked the staff to pull up Xiao Dajiang's records. The records showed that this was indeed the person I was looking for. But on October 4th, 2007, he died in a car accident. The driver was caught a few months later, but not long after. He died of cancer in prison. After reading all the materials, I narrowed my eyes. This was a contract killing. As a forensic doctor for over 20 years, my mother also sensed that his death was not simple. Zhang Yuhuan, a clerk at Golden Department Store, died on September 29th. Xiao Dajiang died on October 4th, only 5 days apart. And the person who killed Xiao Dajiang happened to be a cancer patient. It's hard not to be suspicious. It seems the torture murder case from 10 years ago didn't have only 9 victims. Mother's voice was low. There were 10. I let go of the mouse. It's dark now. Let's put the case aside for now. Let's go home for dinner. Mother looked at her watch and slapped her forehead. Right. It's already past 8. I'm used to being hungry, but you can't have a regular meals while you're young. When it came to eating, she became very concerned, pulling me along. Returning to the residence, the lights were bright. My father, Yi Jingbang, was sitting on the sofa watching TV. Beside him were two elders, my grandparents, Yiguo Liang and Shui Yuzhu. Grandpa's expression was solemn, commanding respect without anger. Grandma was elegant and noble, but her eyes held a depth that had seen through the world. Some in Kyoto once described the Yi family this way. Except for that teenage young master, everyone in the family, regardless of gender, were tigers and leopards of the military and police. Even the kind-looking grandmother, Shui Yuzhu, was a renowned criminal investigation expert. Though she had retired, no one forgot she once personally went to the northeast to capture the top gang leader in the country at the time, Lord Xiao. I walked through the door, grinning. Grandpa, Grandma, why are you back? Grandma dotes on me the most. Seeing her precious grandson, she immediately stood up in joy, gripping my hand tightly. Then looking at the sky outside, her eyes glared, asking my father, "Have you eaten?" Father looked bewildered. "Mom, didn't we just eat together? You still have the nerve to eat." Grandma was annoyed. "The child is running all over the place for you, while you're at home eating feast after feast. Is this how a father should be?" Father's face looked as bitter as a bitter melon. "Didn't you also enjoy your meal just now?" He didn't dare say this. He could only apologize repeatedly. Grandma huffed, shouting toward the kitchen, "Nanny Wang, stir-fry 2 more dishes. Can't let my precious grandson and lovely granddaughter-in-law go hungry." My mother and I felt quite embarrassed. After the meal, Grandpa took off his glasses and asked, "Yi Yang, I heard you spent the whole day following your mother on a case." "Yeah, I gained quite a bit." Father immediately perked up. "What? Is there a lead on the 10-year-old case?" Just as he finished speaking, Grandma slapped the back of his head. "You still have the nerve to ask? If it weren't for me and your father back then, you wouldn't be sitting in this position so peacefully." "Mom, you can't abandon your son just because you have a grandson. I'm the one who is your own flesh and blood. My grandson is still better. I've looked at you for over 40 years. I'm tired of looking at you," Grandma said, while peeling an orange for me. I ate the orange, and smiled. The case from 10 years ago wasn't solved, largely due to the negligence of the investigators. "Correct," Mother added, to summarize. "The biggest reason was you, Yi Zhengbang." Father frowned. "I was as cautious as could be every step of the way. How could I have been negligent? You didn't investigate the Golden Department Store. The victims weren't entirely unrelated," I said slowly. "The victim Li Yuling had a Golden Department Store shopping cart. The victim Zhang Yuhuan was a sales clerk there. Shortly after Zhang Yuhuan died, security captain Xiao Dajiang died in a suspicious car accident. Before that, Li Mingbo's son died in an elevator accident. The most critical point, the Golden Department Store, was completely ignored, overlooked, which allowed the real killer to roam free for 10 years. And our family has borne the brunt of the criticism for 10 years. Father's expression changed completely. He didn't say a word, just stared intently at me. Grandpa and Grandma were the same. The difference was, Grandma picked up a pen and quickly organized the facts on paper. Before long, she wrote down a name, Li Mingbo. "If nothing unexpected happens, he is the prime suspect." Grandma put down the pen. I took a look and gave a thumbs up. "Grandma, you've still got it. From just a few words of mine, you've already reached the same conclusion as me." But there was no smile on Grandma's face. Instead, she was incredibly solemn. "Even if you and I suspect it's Li Mingbo, where is the evidence? It's been 10 years. The evidence should have been destroyed long ago." A smile played on my lips. "Xiao Dajiang or Zhang Yuhuan should be able to tell us where the evidence is. Aren't they dead?" someone once said. I said softly, "That dead people can speak too." The night grew deep. The lights in the Yi household gradually went out, but in a certain room, the parents were not yet asleep. "Wan Rong, have you noticed that Yi Yang seems a bit off?" The father put down his book, frowning slightly. The mother became unhappy upon hearing this. "How can you even say that? If it weren't for the case from 10 years ago, do you think Yang would be willing to show his face? Now public opinion is linking Huang Fei's case to the one from 10 years ago. If we still can't provide an explanation, what will the Yi family have to bear? I understand the consequences. But isn't Huang Fei's case already settled?" The mother sneered. "Yi Zhengbang, I think being in a high position has made you foolish. If you tell the public that the killer is Wang Wei, how many people would believe it?" The case from 10 years ago left an indelible shadow in the hearts of Kyoto's residents. Once Huang Fei's death was reported, the whole city was in an uproar. Rumors spread through every street and alley that the murderous demon from back then has returned. The online attacks can no longer be stopped. Some people have even exposed both the father and mother who were in charge of the case. All sorts of criticisms surged in. The father suddenly realized, it seems no one would actually believe it, that Wang Wei threw us a time bomb. It must be resolved. The mother's tone softened, but then again, I was also surprised. Yang used to be weak, even a bit timid, not like a descendant of soldiers at all. But after spending a day with him today, I feel I had misjudged him all along. He truly is my child. At the end, she couldn't help boasting again. The father also straightened his back, with a look of pride, but they could never have imagined. On this quiet night, someone opened the door, and quietly left the house. That person was me. It was already late at night. I walked for a long time, before I managed to hail a taxi. The driver looked exhausted. Young man, going home this late. Don't your parents scold you? I shook my head with a smile. Late is better. Driver, to Huanshan Cemetery in the suburbs. The driver's eyes widened, looking nervous. Where are you going? Huanshan Cemetery. I nodded in affirmation. In the middle of the night, a 17-year-old boy doesn't go home or to an internet cafe, but actually wants to go to a cemetery. It's already past midnight. The driver wiped his face hard, confirming that I was a living person. Then he took a deep breath. After all, driving to the suburbs would earn quite a bit. He summoned his courage and drove. By the time we reached the cemetery, it was nearly 1 in the morning. I got out of the car. The driver kindly asked, "Young man, what on earth are you doing here so late?" "Catching a thief," I asked with a smile. "Want to come up and take a look, brother?" The driver quickly shook his head and drove away quickly. I smiled and walked into the cemetery. The cemetery at night felt eerie, but I didn't care. In my past life, I had stayed in a graveyard, even sat before a tombstone all night, feeling the chill all around. I quickened my pace. Before long, I stopped in front of a grave. A photo was attached to the tombstone. It was a man around 30 years old, with rugged features, but quite ordinary looking. I looked at the tombstone, and said softly, "Xiao Dajiang, do you think your former superior Li Mingbo will come to visit you tonight?" After speaking, I stepped aside. As a former criminal, I know the psychology of certain criminals too well, especially those who committed major crimes, but were never caught. Their hearts are arrogant and overbearing. In public, they might pretend to be humble, but the moment they turn around, their gaze is like a venomous snake. Even to capture their prey, they will intentionally leave clues, to toy with people. Li Mingbo didn't leave a strong impression on me. He seemed like an ordinary person, but if he is indeed the culprit, then he should have realized Xiao Dajiang would resurface. Once he realized that, he might come to Xiao Dajiang's grave to talk about his achievements over the last 10 years. Although the possibility is low, Li Mingbo is lonely. In these 10 years, he divorced his wife, has no children, and lives alone every day. Now that the events of 10 years ago have been reopened, putting myself in his shoes, if it were me, I would also likely want someone to talk to. But as a murderer with blood on his hands, the secrets in his heart can only be revealed to the dead. Time passed minute by minute. I don't know how long it had been, when I suddenly caught a glimpse of light in the corner of my eye. A flash of light appeared below the cemetery. Though it disappeared quickly, I had already spotted it. A few minutes later, a figure in a suit and leather shoes appeared before Xiao Dajiang's tombstone. He sat down, silently lit a cigarette, and then, his voice filled with a cold sneer, "Xiao Dajiang, someone is finally starting to remember my masterpiece from 10 years ago. I wonder which junior successor it is, who actually tried to copy my killing style, daring to impersonate me when they can't even tie a rope properly. Don't you think it's ridiculous? But those stupid cops are still the same as they were 10 years ago. Tell me, should I actually make a comeback? I used to kill to avenge my son, but I didn't expect that killing would be addictive. Do you know how much I've been itching for it these 10 years? As his voice trailed off, I stepped out from the shadows and smiled. "Li Mingbo, how about I give you a chance to scratch that itch in your heart?" When I stepped out from the shadows, Li Mingbo's face was filled with horror. "What are you doing here?" He stood up and shouted. I gave a soft laugh. "Don't be nervous. You are a high-IQ criminal who has been hunted by the police for 10 years, yet still remains at large. Getting nervous this easily doesn't suit your status." His expression was uncertain and gloomy, and he only spoke after a moment of silence. "When you saw me during the day, you already suspected me, right? I should put it differently. It was when we found you that you knew you couldn't hide much longer." Li Mingbo burst out laughing. "I know you must be carrying a recording device, but don't you know, a recording made without the other party's consent cannot be used as evidence in court. I'm not as complicated as you think." I shook my head. "That recording stuff, I've never cared for using it. I just wanted to see what kind of person you actually are." He frowned, seeming not to believe it. "Although recordings can't be primary evidence, they can be supplementary." But seeing my demeanor, he began to sneer tentatively. "Then what do you think I am? Indeed, a guy who is skilled at crime. By the way, where did you learn your binding technique? From the death of your child to Li Yuling's death, there were only a few days. Not nearly enough time for you to learn it. I think you already knew how. A look of pride suddenly appeared on his face. That binding technique caused countless panics 10 years ago. Some people even had the same nightmare, dreaming they were tied up like that, waking up drenched in a cold sweat. Li Mingbo clearly didn't want to tell me. He coldly dropped the words, "Guess it," and turned to walk down the cemetery. Looking at his back, I spoke calmly. "Wait a moment. What? Still trying to pry information out of me?" He turned back with a sneer. "Yi Yang, I only came tonight to visit my former subordinate. The law doesn't forbid visiting in the middle of the night, does it? And every word you say, I don't understand any of it. So even if you suspect I'm the killer, until there is evidence, I am still Li Mingbo, the general manager of Dewan Mall." After saying that, he couldn't help but laugh out loud, walking away without looking back. I sighed and muttered, "You think I came tonight to catch a criminal? So arrogant. You need a beating." As soon as I finished speaking, I grabbed him by the hair. He was shocked. In his eyes, if it weren't for my background, he wouldn't even be interested in talking to me, a 17-year-old boy. Even if he's exceptionally gifted, he's still just an inexperienced brat. But he didn't expect that this brat's strength was actually quite great. After grabbing him, he actually couldn't move. "Yi Yang, what do you think you're doing? You're the young master of a great family. Do you really want to break the law knowing better? Let go of me!" Li Mingbo was well versed in the law. Over the years, he had studied it countless times, just waiting for the day he might be caught, to see if there were any loopholes to exploit. Unfortunately, while he spoke in legal terms, he overlooked one thing. I am a person with no ties and no inhibitions. Even if I cripple you, who could possibly stop me? I chuckled and stepped on his left leg. There might be people in Jingdu who can handle me, Yi Yang, but that person is definitely not you, Li Mingbo. I didn't seem to be applying any force, but suddenly, there was a crack. "Ah!" Li Mingbo screamed in pain. I squinted and squatted in front of him, smiling. "Actually, I knew even without you telling me. Whether it was Li Yuling, Zhang Yuhuan or Huan Ye, on the day your son died, they must have all been standing by the elevator, watching your son die right before their eyes, right? Precisely because they watched and did nothing. You believe they caused your son's death. Hatred made you target them, and then kill them one by one, right?" In the files of the elevator incident, there was only Zhang Yuhuan's statement, because among the 9 victims, she was the only one employed at Golden Department Store. But whether by coincidence or something else that day, among those at the elevator or riding with the child, there happened to be Li Yuling and the other 8. Li Mingbo seemed to forget the pain at that moment. His eyes widened, his face filled with disbelief. He looked as if he were asking, "How do you know something that no one else knows?" I released my foot and said as I walked down the mountain, "I'll give you one more day. In this one day, I hope you can make it a bit more challenging. Otherwise, once time is up, the game will end." At the end, my voice was very soft, almost a whisper. It seems solving the case is more fun than committing the crime. Looks like I'll have some fun from now on. Li Mingbo stared blankly at my departing figure. He was probably wondering, does Yi Yang really think outsmarting a high IQ criminal is merely just for fun? Over an hour later, I returned to the Yi residence. The entire house was still asleep. No one knew I had been gone for 2 hours. I went back to my room and fell asleep quietly. When I opened my eyes again, it was broad daylight. My mother was calling me for breakfast outside. After washing up and eating, grandfather returned to the military hospital. Grandmother went to her workplace, and my father and mother also rushed out. I watered the plants a bit and then left home. I gave Li Mingbo 24 hours. During this time, I will obtain the key evidence and then send him from the hospital to prison. No matter what happened to him, it shouldn't be paid for with 9 lives. He doesn't have that right, and he certainly can't let one person affect the reputation of the Yi family. From home to Xiao Dajiang's residence, it was nearly a half-hour drive. I walked to the door and knocked for a while. An elderly woman in her 60s, with a hunched back, opened the door. "Young man, who are you looking for?" "Ma'am, I'm from the Public Security Bureau." I pulled my ID out of my pocket. I had told Zhao Qingyang that I could become a temporary investigator at any time, to avoid trouble. My father actually got one for me. "Please take a look at my ID. I'm here today because there are some things I'd like to ask you about." The old woman was literate. She took a glance. "There's only me, An old woman in this house. What could possibly be related to public security? I was a bit surprised. In this small house of about 30 square meters, she was actually all alone. After entering the house, I took the tea she brought with both hands. The tea was a bit cloudy, but I didn't mind. I took a sip. Ma'am, where are the other family members? A look of bitterness appeared on her face. My son passed away in an accident 10 years ago. The old man couldn't take the blow, and passed away a month later. We were such a happy family of 3, and now only this old woman is left, living alone for 10 years. My eyes narrowed slightly. I hadn't expected that Xiao Dajiang's family would be like this. Xiao Dajiang was silenced because he knew Li Mingbo's secret. His father died from the shock of losing his only son. Li Mingbo had directly or indirectly taken 10 lives. I was shaken inside, but kept a straight face. So that's how it is. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but I'm here today specifically for your son, Xiao Dajiang. There is a case from 10 years ago. Through some clues, we found that your son might be the most important witness. That's why I've come to ask you. My son has been gone for 10 years. I don't know anything about his affairs. Aren't you just asking yourself? She sighed. Ma'am, you only need to tell me. Before your son's accident, did he mention anything special that needed to be kept safe? Also, he was 30 when he passed, right? Was there anyone he was very close to at the time? At this question, the old woman's eyes reddened as she answered. Yes, he was dating a sales clerk from the Golden Department Store. Why was my son's life so miserable? The partner he finally found died a tragic, wrongful death, and then he himself had an accident shortly after. Oh God, why did you do this to my family? This question caused her to break down. I had never imagined either that Xiao Dajiang and Zhang Yuhuan were actually lovers. I quickly patted her on the back. Ma'am, the reason I'm here today is for the case of your son's partner, Zhang Yuhuan. Please tell me, after Zhang Yuhuan's tragic death, did your son have any unusual reactions? The old woman frowned, recalling vaguely. Finally, she remembered something. Yes, he was very strange that night. I heard him come home in the middle of the night, and he kept hiding in his room crying. He cried very heartbreakingly. My husband and I went to ask him, but he refused to say why. I was startled. Xiao Dajiang really was the key person. Then ma'am, think about it again. During those days, was there anything he was particularly concerned about? Was there something he cared about specially? It seems there was a waste bag. He carried it with him almost every day, but on the day of the accident, he left it at home. When he was buried, I buried it with him. My heart sank. From her words, I could almost be certain that the most critical evidence was in that waste bag. But unfortunately, the bag was buried with him. To get it, I would have to dig up Xiao Dajiang's grave, open the coffin and retrieve the item. But for people of the old woman's generation, would she allow me to open the grave to seek justice? Looking at the old woman's grief, I felt a massive headache. But if the coffin isn't opened, the evidence cannot be obtained. After thinking it over, after pondering, I asked tentatively, Ma'am, do you really think your son died by accident? She was slightly stunned. Yes. Didn't that driver admit it in court? But do you know that he was a cancer patient? Not long after entering prison, he died of the illness. The old woman nodded. I know. His family told me later. That accident almost destroyed their family too. I started to hate them. But later, what was the use of hatred? From her words, I could hear another meaning. She was someone who could reconcile herself. Otherwise, it would be impossible for her to forgive the killer of her son just because their family was ruined. Ma'am, if I told you your son was intentionally murdered, would you believe me? The old woman's eyes widened. She was speechless for a long time. I helped her sit down and said slowly, Ma'am, although I cannot be entirely certain, but Brother Dajiang's death is directly linked to the serial torture murder cases that shocked Kyoto 10 years ago, and the contents of the waste bag buried with him are crucial. You mean, we have to take the bag out? She asked with a trembling voice. I nodded firmly. Brother Dajiang has been gone for 10 years. But if he really was murdered, don't you want to find the real killer, so he can rest in peace? Tears streamed down the old woman's face. She kept repeating, How can this be? He has been asleep for so many years. Must we wake him up? Ma'am, you are reasonable. You could even forgive the driver who killed your son, so why not let him die with the truth revealed? She fell silent again, looking down without a word. I didn't say anything more, waiting for her to make her own decision. Time passed minute by minute. Finally, she looked up. Is it absolutely necessary? That bag, we've seen it, there's nothing in it. Ma'am, perhaps it wasn't checked carefully at the time. If there really is nothing inside, rest assured, I will move your son to a place with better feng shui for burial. But there is one condition. We must break ground today. Otherwise, as time passes, things might change. The old woman hesitated no longer, nodding and replying, "All right, I'll do as you say." I immediately picked up my phone and arranged for some professionals to go to Huanshan Cemetery to exhume the grave, and found a Taoist priest for the ritual. "Yes, young Master Yi. When will they arrive? The grave must be opened and the coffin exhumed by this evening. It will definitely be done by 4 p.m. After hanging up the phone, I said to Xiao Dajiang's mother, "Ma'am, let's go to Huanshan Cemetery now." "Young man, do you think Dajiang will really not blame me?" I gently patted her shoulder. "If he was murdered, that's when he would truly blame you." She said no more, and we headed to the cemetery together. Soon, the Taoist priest and the workers arrived. I nodded, and the exhumation began. In truth, I was well aware that Xiao Dajiang might not have died in vain. He and Zhang Yuhuan were lovers. If he really had evidence against Li Mingbo, he should have contacted the police immediately. But not only did he not do that, but a few days later, Li Mingbo eradicated him completely. There is only one possibility. Between Xiao Dajiang and Li Mingbo, there were some unspeakable secrets. I would never say this in front of the old woman. Otherwise, the coffin wouldn't have been opened today. After the Taoist priest finished the ritual, the workers stepped forward to open the grave. After a while, the coffin was dug out of the ground. It was a vertical burial. To save land, the whole body wasn't visible inside. Cremation had long become common over the years, so there were only some personal belongings, and the waste bag I was looking for. The coffin was lifted up. I looked at the weeping old lady and asked, "Ma'am, can we open the coffin now?" Open it. If there is an injustice, he will surely thank you." She wiped away her tears. I nodded to the workers. With a creaking sound, the coffin opened. The first thing I saw was the waste bag buried with him. I reached out and grabbed it, pulled open the stiff zipper, but when it opened, it was completely empty, as if nothing had ever been inside. Buried underground for 10 years, though the fabric had changed, it shouldn't have lost its contents. I wasn't in a rush. I reached inside, feeling carefully. No one understood what I was doing, including the old lady. She knew the bag was empty, but I insisted it was crucial evidence. That's why she agreed to open the coffin. Besides, she had her own selfish motives, wanting a better burial plot for her son. "Young man, can this bag really be evidence?" She sounded guilty. I already knew she knew about the bag, but I didn't blame her. Holding a corner, I said, "I've found the evidence. Ma'am, if all goes well, the cause of your son's death will be made public tonight." After speaking, I turned to the workers. "Temporarily store Mr. Zhao's ashes at the funeral home, and arrange the new grave in a couple of days." The old lady excitedly grabbed my hand. "Young man, you knew I lied to you. Why did you still do this?" "Such is the heart of a parent." I smiled. "Ma'am, when the Yi family speaks, we mean what we say, what we promise. We don't go back on. Look, isn't this bag empty?" Leaving those words behind, I didn't linger. I took a car straight to my mother Su Wanrong's office. She was reviewing the autopsy reports of victims like Li Yuling, hoping to find new clues from the records of that year. When the door was pushed open, she was about to be annoyed, but looked surprised. "Younger, why are you here?" "Mom," called Dad, "we can issue an arrest warrant for Li Mingbo now." "Arrest Li Mingbo? You got the evidence?" she exclaimed. "Look." I mysteriously produced the waste bag. I had already ripped open the seams, and pulled out a folded photo from inside. The creases were short. The photo was blurry, almost completely dark, but a glimmer of light illuminated a person's face. Zhang Yuhuan wasn't killed at Chaoguang Bridge at all, but at Chaoguang Park, which was later demolished. Xiao Dajiang used the decorative lights by the park's flower beds to take a photo of Li Mingbo and Zhang Yuhuan. My mother was utterly shocked. The investigation into Zhang Yuhuan's primary death site back then, all assumed it was Chaoguang Bridge. Little did they know the real location was Chaoguang Park. Even more unexpected, while a brutal criminal was murdering a woman that night, someone else was actually in the shadows, using that nearly impossible light to capture the criminal's face. My mother looked at the yellowed photo in disbelief. Justice truly prevails. But why didn't Xiao Dajiang give us the photo back then? "Mom, you might not know this. Xiao Dajiang and Zhang Yuhuan were dating at the time." My mother's eyes widened. "That's impossible. If they were dating, why didn't he save her?" "The answer to that, only Li Mingbo can tell us now," called Dad. "Now, before dark today, we can hold a press conference, announcing that the serial torture murder case from 10 years ago is solved." My mother immediately called my father. On the other end, My father became extremely excited. I could hear his voice standing right beside her. Really? That case from 10 years ago is solved? Solved by our son? Of course. Otherwise, we'd have to rely on you. Heavens know if it could be solved in another 10 years. Quickly arrange for people to catch him at Dewan Mall, Mother said irritably. Father laughed out loud, but he quickly realized. Wait, I arranged for people to watch Dewan Mall this morning. Li Mingbo hasn't appeared all day. That's impossible. Could he have escaped? Mother's expression changed drastically. Only I smiled and took the phone. He can't run. I took the time to break his leg last night. He should be in the hospital now. Check and you'll know. I'll go catch him myself then. What? You went and broke his leg last night? Weren't you sleeping the whole time? Father exclaimed. I rolled my eyes. I've already spooked the snake, and you could still sleep? No wonder Grandma said you got your position for free. Get lost. I'll call people to catch him first. I'll deal with you later. He hung up the phone in frustration. Just 10 minutes later, the call came. Li Mingbo is lying in the orthopedic hospital. An old photo sealed for 10 years became the most crucial evidence. But if someone else went, I wouldn't be confident they could break Li Mingbo. After all, too many years have passed. A single photo isn't ironclad evidence. But it doesn't matter. I am now heading to the orthopedic hospital. Li Mingbo is a bird in a cage. He can't fly away. As I expected, he was lying on the hospital bed, his left leg wrapped in a cast. His expression was gloomy. He didn't believe I could actually find evidence to identify him. But thinking of my young face, hatred surged in his heart. Yi Yang, you think by breaking my leg, I won't be able to leave, just to give yourself enough time to investigate. Stop dreaming. I've been fine for 10 years. Even if a green kid like you has good skills, in terms of brains, you're far behind. Thinking of this, a sinister smile appeared on his face. In the vast capital, he was just a small figure, but it was this small figure who once caused panic throughout the city. He was confident and arrogant. Looking up at the time, 3 p.m. The evening appointment with Yi Yang. Only 2 more hours left. Would Yi Yang really bring the police to catch him? He couldn't help but sneer. But before the smile could fade, the ward door was suddenly pushed open. 7 or 8 officers rushed in, and they were damn well pointing guns at him. Li Mingbo was completely stunned, staring blankly, wanting to say something. But when he saw me walking out from behind the officers, a strange panic rose in his heart. Yi Yang, why did you bring so many officers? He shouted. I glanced at him, and told the officers, close the door. I continued, the suspect Li Mingbo tried to escape, so I was forced to break his second leg. As soon as I spoke, I walked up to him. His face suddenly turned pale. As the fist fell, a scream rang out. Li Mingbo, you are suspected of murdering Li Yuling in 2007, along with Huan Ye, Zhang Yuhuan, Xiao Dejiang, and 10 other victims. This is the arrest warrant. Look closely. I held the arrest warrant in my hand. He trembled all over in pain, but his eyes stared intently. This is impossible. You have no evidence. What right do you have to arrest me? He screamed. If there were no evidence, why would I come to catch you? That photo of Xiao Daijiang. You remember it, right? I asked with a smile. His face was horrified. For at least 3 seconds, his lips trembled. Not a single word came out. It seems you remember. It was worth digging the photo out of his coffin. I revealed the photo in my hand. Li Mingbo, think carefully. If you have a twin brother, he reached out to grab it. Where is the chance now? It's already come to this. You still think your IQ is higher than everyone else's. Your methods could outsmart anyone in criminal investigation. Li Mingbo, you were too careless. When you bribed a terminally ill driver to kill Xiao Dajiang 10 years ago, you shouldn't have stopped so carelessly. By failing to destroy this crucial piece of evidence, you'll always be a failed criminal. My voice was cold. He was like a deflated balloon, leaning powerlessly against the bed. You really dug it up from his grave? He's been buried for 10 years, and you actually managed to dig it up. The truly important things are safest when buried in the ground. I stared at him. Tell me, why didn't Xiao Dajiang stop you from killing Zhang Yuhuan that night, but instead just took photos? That's the part I'm most curious about. Xiao Dajiang and Zhang Yuhuan were lovers. Any man seeing someone kill his partner wouldn't just patiently take photos, right? Li Mingbo didn't speak. He silently closed his eyes. I knew what he was thinking. I smiled. You're thinking about how to evade guilt or get a reduced sentence. Don't even dream about it. With me here, you can't escape. He slowly opened his eyes and asked a strange, completely irrelevant question. Yi Yang, are you really only 17? I paused for a moment, touched my own face, and smiled. What do you think? Your mindset, your IQ. How could you be just some green kid? He was practically grinding his teeth. I gave a slight smile. That's not important. What's important is that it's time you gave me the answer. Look, I've already scratched your itch, so shouldn't you scratch mine now? After a long sigh, he said through the pain, actually, I don't understand why Xiao Dajiang did that either. All I know is that he came to me later, demanding 500,000 in hush money. I knew all too well that people like him can't be bought. The only way was to have him taken out. But I think there must have been an irreconcilable conflict between him and Zhang Yuan. At the time, a mall manager was also pursuing her. When I struck, she was still on the phone with that guy. Perhaps Xiao Dajiang also harbored hatred for her. Furthermore, Xiao Dajiang's family background was always poor. Although he was the security captain, his monthly salary wasn't high. Back then, it's more likely he wanted to use this method to obtain a fortune. Or it's possible that he arrived only after I killed Zhang Yuan. There was only one photo, a shot of me sitting beside her after I killed her. I finally understand a bit. That makes sense. As for the real reason, only Xiao Dajiang himself knows. Matters of love and hate are the easiest to blind a person. Alright, let's stop talking about him. Did you really, just because your son died in the elevator, take your anger out on those 9 people? At that moment, a sinister light suddenly flashed in Li Mingbo's eyes. His voice was low. Do you know that Li Yuling was right next to my son at the time? She reacted quickly and ran up in time. Tell me, why was she so stupid? Why couldn't she pull my son up before running? She had plenty of time to do that. And that Huanya, that damned woman, was right next to the emergency stop switch. Why didn't she think to press it? If she had, my son would have lost his feet at most. But because of their stupidity and panic, my son was killed. He was like a crazed beast. But I shook my head. I might understand your later psychology better. When you killed Li Yuling, you truly acted out of hate. But later, you found killing to be interesting, like smoking or even taking drugs. It becomes addictive, right? How do you know? He was horrified. I let out a soft breath. I silently turned around, without saying another word. The officer stepped forward and handcuffed him. He was still shouting, Yi Yang, who on earth are you? I'm just Yi Yang. I didn't look back. Li Mingbo, I'm just familiar with the psychology of people like you. Eventually, you didn't even want to avenge your son anymore, because you knew those girls were innocent. They might have made mistakes, but nothing that deserved death. It's just that you lost control, and since the police couldn't find any trace of you, you gradually became reckless, longing to see the terror on their faces as they died, and preferring to touch their cold bodies. Right. After saying this, I walked out the door, leaving Li Mingbo staring blankly at my back, speechless. I wasn't wrong. When he killed Huangya, the hatred in his heart was already gone, but he didn't expect that killing is addictive. Li Mingbo was handcuffed and dragged away with broken legs. I stood outside the ward and called my father. Has the driver's family been dealt with? It's done. They will testify in court. My father's tone was soft. I could tell he was truly happy. By the way, there's a press conference this evening. You should attend. I curled my lip. Not interested. Now that the case is solved, I'm no longer part of the public security system. You're still a student. Ha! Right. You are still a student. Your old man benefited from you this time. I'll give you a big gift later. That sounds good, but it depends on what the gift is. After chatting for a while, I hung up. Seeing there was nothing else, I returned to the Yi residence. As soon as the cook, Andy Wang, saw me, she wanted to make something to eat. I made an excuse that I wasn't hungry and turned on the TV. By evening, almost every channel of the Kyoto TV station was broadcasting the same report. According to the latest news, the serial torture and murder case that shocked Kyoto 10 years ago has been solved. The criminal was arrested at 3:42 p.m. at the orthopedic hospital, according to the Public Security Department. The torture and murder case from 2 days ago and the serial case from 10 years ago were committed by different killers. Both cases have been solved. However, our station has learned that the decade-old cold case is finally closed. Besides the efforts of the Public Security Department, a youth surnamed Yi, who wished to remain anonymous, played the biggest role in solving both cases. I looked at the report, not surprised that my information was revealed. Having been involved throughout, it was impossible to cover it up completely. But I didn't expect my mother to suddenly call. Mom, is something wrong? Xiao Dajiang's mother is here too. She has something to say to you. Soon, I heard the woman's voice. Young Master Yi, thank you for your kindness, but my son doesn't deserve such treatment. I truly thank you, and I'll take this opportunity to apologize. I really shouldn't have hidden it from you before. A smile appeared on my face. It's not needed anymore. Just bury him where he is. He got what he deserved. Very well, I'll do as you say. I don't do good deeds for no reason. There are too many people in the world who need help. There's no need to insist on helping someone who might not be worth it. The reason I did it was simply because I promised her. Now that she doesn't want it, I will naturally agree. I put down the phone and continued watching TV. Around 10 o'clock at night, my parents finally came home. As soon as they arrived, my mother called me out of my room. Yi-yang, your dad has a gift for you. I didn't think my father would actually give me a gift, so I looked surprised. Dad, were you actually serious about what you said this afternoon? My father laughed loudly, patting my shoulder. What did you think? You didn't see Zhao Qingyang come to my office with that look on his face, like he'd eaten shit. It was absolutely satisfying. So this time, for the Yi family and the entire security system, you've made the greatest contribution. A gift is a must. Then bring it out. Stop being mysterious. But after waiting for a while, my parents showed no sign of getting up. There was no gift box on the table either. My mother smiled and said, "Your father plans to let you graduate from high school early and enroll directly in the Kyoto Police Academy next semester." I was completely stunned. At first, hearing I didn't have to finish high school, I was secretly delighted. I didn't expect that it was just switching stoves to keep simmering. Seeing my reluctance, my father spoke. The Kyoto Police Academy is the highest level security academy in the country. Those who can study there all possess the talent to become excellent officers. At its founding, your grandfather served as the honorary principal. I graduated from there as well. Yi-yang, the people there are very interesting. Don't you want to try? Very interesting. Not bad. The top students who graduate from there, as long as they aren't unlucky, can all reach high positions. But many people have said that the top graduates of Kyoto Police Academy are also criminal geniuses on the other side. If they were to commit a crime, they could absolutely baffle the entire security system. Actually, I'm starting to get interested. In this world, I don't lack money, nor do I lack power. It's always me bullying others. No one has ever dared to truly bully me. A life of eating and playing every day, and sleeping after playing, is simply too boring. That's why when the torture murder case happened, and because it was related to the Yi family, I couldn't wait to show up. If there's really a group of such interesting people as classmates, life seems like it would be much more fun. At least it's better than facing textbooks every day in high school. Alright, then I'll go to Kyoto Police Academy and see. My mother was overjoyed to hear this. Great, great, great. Mom will go prepare the things you need for next semester right now. A vein popped on my forehead. I said speechlessly, Mom, there's still a month until next semester. What's the rush? News of the serial torture murder case solved 10 years ago was still spreading through the streets and alleys of Kyoto. That mysterious youth surnamed Yi was also being continuously mythologized by the public. Something about being a born genius at solving cases, or a top student from a world-leading criminal investigation academy. Some even went as far as to say that Yi Yang's surname wasn't actually Yi, but Di, and that he was the reincarnation of Di Renjia. Looking at these comments, I grinned mischievously. But as time passed, busy people wouldn't remember that case every day, until half a month later, when Li Mingbo and Wang Wei appeared in court and the reports came out. It caused a sensation once again. My mind had long since moved on from that, and I was browsing information about the Kyoto Police Academy from time to time. Unfortunately, there was very little information about the academy online. It must be a school that is intentionally protected. Before this, if my father hadn't mentioned it, I wouldn't have known such a place existed. Every summer, the Kyoto Police Academy sends invitation letters to students they've scouted, besides children from prestigious families. These students also include children from ordinary families, but the prerequisite is the same. They all possess the potential to become good officers or even good cadres. Just before the semester started, I received an invitation letter from the Kyoto Police Academy. This was my father's wish. Until the last moment, don't use the Yi family's connections. When the invitation letter arrived at the Yi house, my father couldn't stop laughing with joy. Those old fogies at Kyoto Police finally haven't gone senile. Our Yi-yang solved 2 major cases in a row. If they didn't proactively invite a student like this, it would be simply unreasonable. Amidst the family's joyful anticipation, the new semester finally began. My mother helped me prepare various bags and parcels, clothes, toiletries, and spare items. Looking at those bags, I felt my scalp tingle. Mom, Kyoto Police is right here in Kyoto City, only a half-hour drive from home. What are you doing? It's not like I'm going far away. My mother didn't care at all. pointing to one bag. This one is full of clothes. This bag is full of shoes. And this bag, make sure to remember, it's full of medicine you might need. Also, take this card. I'll check the balance every now and then. I'll top it up when it's empty. I took the card with a wry smile. The amount inside isn't much, just 100,000. My mouth twitched violently. Good heavens, I'm just a 17-year-old student, and my allowance is a six-figure sum, and there are no limits, and she'll send more when it's gone. Alright, I admit my family has some businesses that provide a steady stream of money, but 100,000 for allowance is simply too extravagant. I sighed, looking like the classic doting mother spoils the son, silently tucking the bank card into my pocket. I got it. When the money is almost gone, I'll call you in advance. My mother suddenly felt a bit sentimental. She hugged me tightly. Yi Yang, take good care of yourself at the Beijing Police Academy. Eat and rest on time. Do you understand? I picked up my suitcase. I know, when the holidays come, I'll definitely have gained a few pounds. After saying that with a smile, I left home and took a ride to the Beijing Police Academy. Every year, the Beijing Police Academy sends out many highly professional students across the country. For many who long for or set their dreams within the security system, this place is a holy land and a paradise they flock to. As the holidays ended, the academy gradually became lively. It seemed filled with the vitality of dreams and youth. No filth should exist in such a place. On the rooftop of the 7th floor, dorm building B of the Beijing Police Academy, no one had visited during the 2-month break. The wind howled across the roof, making all the metal clash and ring, sometimes the rattling of sheet metal or the clinking of strikes. However, the iron door on the roof seemed to completely isolate it from the floors below. No one knew what it looked like up there. They only knew there was a water tower. Now that school has started, the water tower will begin its work again, storing and releasing water for students to bathe and wash clothes. But after more than 2 months of disuse, combined with a loose valve, there wasn't a single drop of water left in the tower. There were only a few small creatures, constantly bumping against the tower's metal skin. The thumping sounds weren't loud, but if you listened closely, you could tell the tower was inhabited by creatures that made squeaking noises. Unsurprisingly, inside that water tower, there must be quite a few rats. I stood at the entrance of the Beijing Police Academy. The guardhouse was manned by specialized security, standing straight, with eyes like hawks. This scene alone is beyond what an ordinary school could offer. The Beijing Police Academy has a unique feature. The students' ages vary greatly. Some are 25 or 26. Some are even only 14 or 15. The older ones seem somewhat humble here, while the younger ones naturally seem superior. But it is still a comprehensive school. Most of the knowledge is for future contributions to the security system. But language, math, English, physics, and chemistry are equally indispensable. As I walked to the gate, the guard immediately reached out to stop me. Student, please show your admission notice. I took the notice out of my bag. Even at the start of the term, parents aren't allowed inside the academy. Any student who still needs a parent's company would surely be ridiculed. After the security check, he turned and let me through. I smiled and said thank you, walked through the gate, found the admissions office, registered my information, and was assigned a dorm. Once everything was sorted, I finally got my dorm key. The treatment at the academy is quite good. Dorms are shared by 3 people, with an individual bed for each. I entered the dorm. My roommates hadn't arrived yet. I arranged my things on my own, and spent some time quietly on my phone. A short while later, the door opened, and a young man in his early 20s walked in. He had a buzz cut, was shorter than me, but very sturdy. He paused for a moment when he saw me. Hello, are you also in this dorm? I nodded. He looked even more shocked. So the legends of the academy are true. The students here really are of all ages. Buddy, you look 17 or 18 at most. Just had my 17th birthday. You could say I'm 18 now. Holy crap. A genius. That's insane. Buddy, I'm Joe Chow, from Beijing City. Nice to meet you. I shook hands with a smile. Exchanged a few pleasantries. Just then, the last roommate arrived. Zhou Chao's expression changed again, because the one who entered was also a young boy, wearing glasses. His clothes were a bit old. He looked at me and Zhou Chao, smiled slightly, but his eyes looked a bit timid. Hello everyone. Hi, my name is Li Duo. I'm Yang. I'm Zhou Chao. Buddy, how old are you? Zhou Chao seemed very concerned about this. 19. Oh my god. Give me a break. 3 people in one room. One 17, one 19, and I'm the only one who's 21. How can I possibly share a room with 2 big shots? Zhou Chao beat his chest in frustration. Li Duo and I couldn't help but laugh, but Li Duo kept glancing at me. Finally, he couldn't resist asking, "Are you really only 17? I hummed an affirmation. He pouted and smiled. Seems like I came to the right place. course. It's definitely going to be fun. I looked at him in surprise. He actually had the same mindset as me. He was here to have fun. The three of us chatted for a while and invited each other to check out the cafeteria. After all, it concerns the food for the whole semester. We can't ignore it. Luckily, the Beijing cafeteria wasn't that bad. The food was decent. At least Li Duo and Zhou Chao were eating with wide grins. They couldn't help but praise Jingjing. But after eating and returning to the dorm, the wonderful Jingjing left a bad impression. There was actually no water in the dorm. Li Duo was shirtless. Even with the AC, he still felt sticky. After waiting for a while, he said, "No way. Let's go ask the dorm manager downstairs. When will the water be back?" Zhou Chao and I both agreed. No water for a shower in this heat. It's really frustrating. The three of us went downstairs, only to find many people were already asking. The dorm manager auntie, hearing the noise, picked up a megaphone and shouted, "Students, don't panic. I only arrived at school this evening. I've already reported the situation. The rooftop water tower probably broke from disuse. But it's too late now. School leadership said a technician will come tomorrow. We have to wait until tomorrow? We'll stink like salted fish tonight." "Exactly. We want water. We want a shower. Wang Daming in our room has smelly feet. If there's no water, we'll all be killed by the smell tonight," the students shouted. The manager was exhausted from dealing with them. Li Duo sighed. I said, "Forget it. Let's go back to the dorm. Just make do for one night. That's all we can do," Li Duo replied. Unexpectedly, Zhou Chao had a sudden idea. "It's just a water tower, right? Let's just go up and fix it. I saw tools for sale at the school's supermarket. Brothers, let's buy tools, go to the roof, and fix the tower, and save all our fellow students in the building." Zhou Chao was ready to act immediately. I also felt uncomfortable after sweating all day. If we can do it ourselves, there's absolutely no need to wait until tomorrow. So the three of us went to the supermarket and bought some tools. While no one was paying attention, we dashed up to the top floor. But there was an iron door on the top floor. A big lock was hanging on the door. Zhou Chao, holding a wrench, with his muscular upper body bare, asked, "Pry it open." "We're already here. Why wouldn't we? Otherwise, given the school's typical way, they'll definitely make us wait until tomorrow." Zhou Chao pushed the wrench against the lock. Click. The lock was picked, pushing open the iron door covered in spiderwebs. A gust of wind blew in my face. The breeze felt refreshing, but my nose twitched. I quickly blocked Zhou Chao and Li Duo. "This smell. Something's not right." Smelling more closely, it should be the smell of decay. It wasn't very strong, but I smelled it. Shortly after, Li Duo also looked at me. "There is indeed a smell. It must be from some rotting animal. On this rooftop, there might be rats or carcasses of birds that fell from the sky." I nodded slightly and smiled. "Let's just go fix the water tower. The temperature on this roof is unusually high. It's already unbearably hot. Let's hurry up. Otherwise, if we're caught, we'll get criticized even if we're doing a good deed." As Zhou Chao spoke, he headed toward the water tower. The water tower on the roof was huge. There was a puddle of water below. Zhou Chao took a look and said speechlessly, "I thought it was a bigger problem. Turns out the valve just came loose. When the water was pumped, the pressure knocked the valve onto the ground. Here, the water pressure is insufficient. No water is definitely getting into the pipes. Then let's install it quickly. That way, there'll be water soon," Li Duo urged. Zhou Chao nodded with a smile, picking up the valve from the puddle. But to his surprise, next to the valve, there was actually a ring. This ring, could it be real? Hearing this, Li Duo and I both walked over to look. Zhou Chao was indeed holding a ring. It should be gold, not big, but there was a character engraved on it. Someone must have accidentally dropped this on the roof. "Let's hand it over to the school later," Li Duo said softly. Zhou Chao seemed a bit reluctant, but he didn't really want to keep it for himself. He tucked the ring into his pocket and prepared to tighten the valve. But from inside the valve opening, a pointed head suddenly squeezed out. It kept making squeaking sounds. Zhou Chao immediately backed away, his face full of disgust. "Since when did a rat crawl into this water tower? So disgusting. The water in the tower is the only water source for the students in the whole dormitory. Thinking about a rat in there makes me feel nauseous." But Li Duo and I stepped forward. From that fist-sized valve opening, we smelled that familiar scent of decay. If it were just a rat, how could it have such a strong smell? Li Duo said in disbelief. Suddenly, something occurred to me. I immediately climbed up the ladder of the water tower. I lifted the cover of the water tower, turned on the flashlight and shone it inside. There was actually a person lying inside. The stench surged out completely at that moment. Zhou Chao and Li Duo below noticed my change in expression, and asked in unison, "What's wrong? Come up and see for yourselves." I climbed down the ladder. Li Duo was the first to climb up. He shone his phone's flashlight, and when he saw the motionless body in the water tower, a flash of surprise crossed his face. face, but quickly, he instinctively pinched his chin, showing a thoughtful expression. Zhou Chao below said urgently, "What are you dazing out for up there? Hurry down and let me have a look." Li Duo came down quietly. Zhou Chao followed him up. He looked inside, and couldn't help but exclaim, "Holy shit, a corpse! In the water tower of the Beijing Police Academy, there's actually a corpse." Zhou Chao was probably as astonished as Columbus discovering the New World. "My father told me when I came that there are quite a few weirdos in the Beijing Police Academy, and here we have one." Zhou Chao is definitely a weirdo. Most people would probably panic upon seeing a corpse. But him, he was only slightly surprised, and then he actually prepared to climb into the water tower. I rolled my eyes speechlessly. "What are you doing? Get down here now, move the body out, and then perform the autopsy." "Right. Old Lee, get ready. Didn't you say you came to the police academy mainly to study forensics? Once I move the body out, you can start your performance." Excitement flickered in Li Duo's eyes. Rubbing his hands, he promised not to disappoint the comrades. "Actually, I also wanted Zhou Chao to get the body out and have a good look. This is the police academy. Although the body inside isn't clear, it's wearing the academy uniform. A lot of time must have passed, killing a student within the police academy, and hiding the body in the water tower for days. The killer must be an extremely clever person. As for whether the victim could have fallen in by accident, no one would suspect that. The water tower lid was closed properly. If this isn't murder and concealment, then what is it?" Zhou Chao braced himself with both arms, preparing to jump into the water tower. But just as he sprang up, the iron door was suddenly opened again. A few unexpected figures walked out from the door, spotting Zhou Chao just as he was about to dive in. Their expressions changed drastically, and they roared, "What are you three doing? Get down here right now!" A man who looked like a school official walked over quickly, his face full of anger. "It's dark already. Why aren't you in your dorms? What are you doing on the roof?" Zhou Chao curled his lip and explained, "There's no water in the dorm. The dorm manager said it won't be fixed until tomorrow. Actually, the valve just fell off. It's a small problem. We can just fix it ourselves." The man's expression softened slightly. "Since the school said it'll be fixed tomorrow, then as students you should obey. However, considering your good intentions, I won't hold it against you today. The repairmen have already arrived, so go back." None of us moved. He got angry. "What? Do my words mean nothing to you? I am Wang Gang, the director of school logistics. Now I order you to return to your dorms immediately." I spoke up then. "Director Wang, there's a body in the water tower." Wang Gang was stunned. "Even if there is, you still have to obey. There is a body in the water tower." "Yes." As the first witnesses to discover the deceased, the three of us cannot possibly leave at this time. So, Director Wang, the priority right now should be to first move the deceased out of the water tower, then investigate their identity, and then, after a thorough examination of the scene, proceed with the steps to find the real killer. After I finished speaking calmly, Zhou Chao and Li Duo stifled their laughter. Wang Gang's expression changed. He turned to the repairman and said, "You two, please wait a moment." He climbed the ladder and took a look. Then he picked up his phone. "Security department, send people over immediately. A body has been found in the water tower on the roof of dorm building B." Then he made another call. "Hello, Principal Su, this is Wang Gang. A male corpse was found on the roof of dorm building B. The corpse is wearing our school uniform. This is an extremely serious incident. I hope you can arrive at the school immediately." To respond to this emergency, he reacted quickly, first calling security, then reporting to the principal. "This man is probably more than just ordinary management, but I care more about the body in the water tower." Zhou Chao and Li Duo were also staring intently. Zhou Chao asked in a low voice, "Yi Yang, who on earth would be the kind of person to kill someone at the police academy without causing a single stir?" Li Duo pushed up his glasses, and judging by the degree of decomposition and the fact that the holiday just ended, "Do you think the victim was killed last semester?" I smiled. "How would I know? But in a moment we can apply to follow this case. After all, we are the witnesses. Besides, the fact that we found it right after enrolling." "What does that mean?" The two of them looked over. I lowered my voice. "It means the deceased didn't trust anyone, except for the three of us." Zhou Chao and Li Duo rolled their eyes simultaneously. "As future law enforcement officers, we should be atheists. Death is like a lamp going out. All we need to do is find the facts. What does this have to do with the deceased? No, there is actually a hidden arrangement in fate." I didn't say more. The security guards arrived quickly. promptly moving the body out of the water tower. The body was already severely decomposed. Internal organs had fallen out. The face was gnawed beyond recognition. Zhou Chao's face turned pale. He whispered to himself, "This guy died so miserably. Will he turn into a vengeful ghost?" Li Duo swallowed hard, but his eyes behind the glasses lit up. "What should I do, guys? I can't control the urge to poke that body. Look at him. For a forensic doctor, he's practically a treasure trove." I didn't respond. I walked straight toward the body. Wang Gang wanted to stop me, but he stopped, seeming to want to see what we could find. Li Duo knelt down to examine. Zhou Chao surveyed the surroundings. I watched quietly. Soon, Li Duo looked up. The deceased died from their skull being crushed by a blunt object. This isn't the primary crime scene. The body was moved and dumped here after death. Time of death cannot be determined for now. The weather has been rainy and sunny. When it rains, the body is definitely soaked in water. When the sun beats down, the moisture evaporates completely. Zhou Chao walked back, holding up a ring. No traces of the primary crime scene were found on the rooftop, but it can be preliminarily confirmed that in the name of the victim, or the killer, there is the character Shu. I shook my head and spoke. No, the time of death should be easy to determine. It must have been during the last few days of the last semester before the break. And the killer should be among the students who graduated last semester. A student who was exceptionally outstanding in every aspect. Li Duo frowned. How can you be sure? After Beijing Police Academy goes on break, the school is completely locked down, except for some school staff. Students are not allowed to enter. Moreover, the body has been decomposing for a long time, so it couldn't have happened in the last couple of days. Therefore, it could only be the last few days of school. Li Duo suddenly realized. Oh right, why didn't I think of that? A flicker of surprise crossed Wang Gang's face. He looked at me. What is your name? My gaze remained on the body. Yi Yang. His gaze suddenly froze, as if remembering something. I ignored him. I reached out and lifted the deceased's clothes, and pulled down the pants. Everyone was stunned. Zhou Chao cried out, "Where's his manhood? Eaten by rats." I gave him a speechless look. I stood up and said, "It can be basically confirmed that this is a revenge killing, and cutting off the manhood after the murder is most likely due to emotional issues." Just as I finished speaking, a voice came from behind. As expected of the Yi family, it seems that in 3 or 4 years, our Beijing Police Academy will produce another legendary figure in the field of criminal investigation. The speaker was none other than Principal Su Hua of Beijing Police Academy. As soon as he appeared, Wang Gang immediately ran over, calling out respectfully, "Principal Su, you've arrived." Su Hua waved his hand. He walked to the body and glanced at it. He sighed. "You three just said the deceased was killed for revenge. Their name contains the character Shu, and they are likely a graduate from the previous class. Wang Gang, who among the previous graduates has the character Shu in their name? Principal Su, I've seen this ring before. Yang Shu wore one exactly like it on his finger. Wang Gang seemed constrained while answering. Upon hearing this, Su Hua's expression changed drastically. "What did you say? He is Yang Shu?" I looked over. Even the principal is this shocked. This Yang Shu must not have been a simple person. No way. Yang Shu? Among the previous graduates, the Yang Shu who ranked in the top 3 in every subject? Zhou Chao exclaimed in disbelief. Su Hua didn't answer. Instead, he roared, "Quick! Notify the Municipal Public Security Bureau immediately. Then our school will organize a special investigation team to cooperate with the security department. Furthermore, have them test the DNA as quickly as possible to see if it's Yang Shu. Finally, call Yang Shu's parents immediately to inquire. This person has been dead for nearly 2 months. If it is Yang Shu, his parents should have called the school long ago. I've been thinking about that too. 2 months. How could there be no word from home?" Wang Gang immediately reported it to the police. Then he dialed the phone to Yang Shu's home. He put it on speaker. He asked with a deliberate smile, "Hello, is this Mr. Yang Xian, Yang Shu's father? I am Wang Gang, the logistics director of the Beijing Police Academy." "Oh, it's Director Wang. Is something the matter? I'd like to ask, is student Yang Shu at home right now? The school has some matters to discuss with him." While speaking, Wang Gang glanced at Su Hua. Yang Shu's father spoke calmly. "He's not here. I don't know what he was thinking. After graduation, he said he ran off to the mountains to teach. He didn't even discuss it with us, but he did say that we would see him in these 2 days. Everyone's face showed surprise. Wang Gang asked again, "Has he contacted you via video or phone?" "He's in a remote mountain area. There's no internet, and the signal is terrible. Forget video calls. The last phone call was last month when he said he went to town to call us." At this moment, Father Yang seemed to realize something. Why, Director Wang? It couldn't be that something happened to our young Shu, right? Wang Gang looked at Suhua. The latter took a deep breath, took the phone and said, Mr. Yang, I am Suhua, the principal of the Beijing Police Academy. There is something I need you to confirm. Was the person who last called you really Yang Shu? Yes, but his voice was hoarse at the time, saying he had a cold and a heavy nasal tone. I looked at the corpse on the ground. It's him, Yang Shu, and the one who made the call must be the killer. He told the parents they'd meet in these 2 days. These 2 days are exactly the registration days. The body in the water tower can't be hidden anymore. Suhua cleared his throat. Nothing has happened. Since Yang Shu cannot be reached, Mr. Yang, I must ask both of you to come to the academy. In the academy, there is something very important to give to both of you, but our home is in Shanghai. To travel all the way, Mr. Yang, you and your wife must be present. This is incredibly important for Yang Shu. Suhua told a white lie. After Father Yang agreed, the call ended. Suhua returned the phone, standing there in silence for a long time. Zhou Chao and Li Duo couldn't wait. Principal, we are this year's freshmen. How about the school's cooperation group? Let the 3 of us participate. Rest assured, we will definitely catch the killer. Suhua looked at Zhou Chao and Li Duo, and finally his gaze fell on me. Yi Yang, are you willing to join? If you are willing, then for the spots in this cooperation group, I'll let you choose as you wish. I understand. He must know that I've solved cases before, and I'm full of interest in that killer. Just who is this person, who could silently take out a top student from the previous class, and even impersonate him for 2 months? This kind of role-playing, I've never tried. Fine, let the cooperation group be the 3 of us, but I don't want the security department to interfere too much. Otherwise, the procedures would be complex and the time would be extended. The school can just go through the motions, and then the main authority will be in my hands. Besides, the school has all the equipment it should have, doesn't it? I made my request. Wang Gang was about to object, but Suhua stopped him and smiled. I'll leave it to you to handle. I'll deal with the security department and make it clear to them. But Yi Yang, you should know that this case cannot be dragged on for too long. I naturally know. That's good. Security, take the body to the forensic department's lab. Have them verify the DNA. With Suhwa's order, the security personnel wrapped the body and carried it away. The 3 of us were in the forensic lab, surrounding the corpse. Before the DNA results come out, no one can make a final conclusion. The ring can't be completely certain. Li Duo examined it carefully. I watched from the side, but Zhou Chao kept staring at the victim's crotch, occasionally blurting out, Yi Yang, do you think this guy was too timing? And then one of the women turned love into hate, then took the chance to kill him and cut off his thing. He looked quite certain. Seeing that neither Li Duo nor I replied, Zhou Chao said boredly, why isn't anyone answering me? Do you know how ruthless women are these days? Forget about cutting off a man's thing. If they really hate someone, I'd believe they'd use death by 1,000 cuts, until the final truth is determined. Any imagination is just speculation. Li Duo spoke. Zhou Chao curled his lip and leaned in to ask me, hey, Yi Yang, is your family super rich? I saw Principal Su call you Young Master Yi. When he arrived, I looked back at him. Are you here to solve the case, or to watch the show and gossip? Solving the case, of course. Actually, I've already seen through this case. The real difficulty isn't knowing who the killer is, but how to find evidence to prove it. Our opponent is a high IQ criminal. He was able to silently eliminate Yang Shu, one of the most outstanding students of the academy. So, for the evidence left for us, this much is already very rare. Zhou Chao seems unreliable, but to get into the academy, he must have his skills. At this moment, his judgment was the same as mine. The hardest part isn't finding the killer, but finding evidence to prove he is the killer. We worked from evening until late at night. Li Duo finally got the results. It is Yang Shu. Yi Yang, you were right. Time of death was around 60 days ago. The skull was crushed by a blunt object. Then the genitals were cut off and hidden in the water tower. Li Duo took off his glasses and said, I also took off my uniform and said, I was thinking, that thing that was cut off, will it eventually become our most important evidence? Li Duo and Zhou Chao were both stunned and smiled bitterly. That's impossible, right? But it's been 2 months. Would the killer have pickled it? It's just a hypothesis. I smiled. We didn't say more. Opened the laboratory door and unexpectedly found many people standing there. All were students of the academy, older than us. A tall boy stepped forward. Are you the investigation team appointed by Principal Su? Freshman of this year's class? Zhou Chao immediately stepped forward with his head high. That's us. I am Wang Shaw, a second-year student. Your Senior, now my team requests to join you. Inform us of the known case details, so the case can be solved soon. His tone seemed calm, but was actually commanding. Zhou Chao's expression darkened. Li Duo tightly guarded the folder in his hand. Seeing we didn't speak, Wang Shuo added, again, 3 juniors. This is the first homicide since the Academy's founding. The outside world already knows. It's caused quite a stir. For the sake of the school's reputation, I hope you have some self-awareness. Don't let it be that the case can't be solved, and instead damages the school's reputation. Ridiculous. Who says we can't solve it? Zhou Chao retorted. I say you're not capable. Then you're not. Out of respect for Principal Su. That's why I said I'd join you. Otherwise, I would have said I'm dissolving your team. Wang Shuo's eyes were full of cold arrogance. Several boys behind him also spoke. 3 juniors. When the case is solved, we won't forget you. But you've only just arrived at the academy. You might not even know the basic procedures for solving a case, so you'd better agree quickly. Following us will allow you to learn more. Zhou Chao clenched his fists. Bullshit. The only ones who can teach me are the professors. Who the hell do you think you are? You think you're fit to lecture us? Wang Shuo's gaze turned cold. I'm being polite. Are you sure you don't want it? Do you know, once we apply, your investigation team will be dissolved immediately. Zhou Chao and Li Duo could feel it. That this Wang Shuo was not ordinary. I hate this kind of thing the most. I silently pulled Zhou Chao behind me, looking at Wang Shuo. One last warning. Move. Wang Shuo laughed out loud. I heard there are several so-called geniuses aged 17 or 18 in this class. Truly arrogant. But do you know that you still have to follow the rules in the Beijing Police Academy? Rules? Let's hear them, I asked with a smile. Wang Shuo was one of the best students in the criminal investigation department of the second year at the academy. His uncle was Zhao Qingyang, the director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau. As long as he graduated from the academy, he could join the Municipal Public Security Bureau directly. For many people, Wang Shuo was indeed someone of importance. Even Li Duo and Zhou Chao's expressions changed. But the next second, Wang Shuo, who was holding his head high with an arrogant face, his expression suddenly changed. A palm pressed onto his face, shoving his head violently to the side. Wang Shuo stumbled back, roaring in shame and anger. You fucking dare to push me? Just Zhao Qingyang's nephew, and you dare to act tough in front of me. I looked at him. Call your uncle yourself and ask who Yang is. I pushed Wang Shuo's head away, and left with Zhou Chao and Li Duo. The two of them followed behind me. I could feel their curiosity about my identity. Now they should know why I didn't care about that director. The people behind Wang Shuo were full of indignation. Stop right there, they shouted. I looked back. What? Want to fight? Believe it or not, after the fight, the ones getting expelled will definitely be you. When it's time to use my status, I don't mind using it. The Yi family name is enough to make me fearless. Wang Shuo calmed down from his indignation, thinking to himself, who is Yi Yang? The academy is full of hidden talents. There are many descendants of wealthy families. He suddenly remembered something. That serial case from over a month ago. His uncle was furious when mentioning it. A 10-year-old cold case. He had been kept in the dark all this time, and the person who solved the case was the eldest young master of the current Yi family, Yi Yang, the family of his uncle's benefactor's arch-rival. Wang Shuo suddenly understood. He quickly stepped forward. Forcing a smile, he asked, are you young Master Yi of the Yi family? I glanced at him, didn't answer, only said to Zhou Chao and Li Duo, let's go. We walked straight away. Wang Shuo's face darkened, his ears burning with shame. Wang Shuo, just letting them leave like that. Solving this case could earn a lot of points. Someone was unwilling to let it go. Wang Shuo glared back fiercely. Don't say I didn't warn you. Stay away from Yi Yang in the future. He is the eldest son of a 3-generation military and police family in Kyoto. He's not someone to mess with. Everyone gasped in shock. We arrived at the principal's office in the early morning. Su Hua hadn't slept all night. Seeing us enter, he stood up and smiled. What are the results? It's confirmed that the deceased is Yang Shu. Time of death was 2 months ago. Now we need Yang Shu's social records from back then to narrow down the suspect list, I said. Su Hua nodded and took a file out of the drawer. I've had it ready, but don't stay up too late. We took the file and returned to the dormitory. The information Su Hua organized was very comprehensive, including Yang Shu's roommates and classmates. Zhou Chao got a headache after looking for a while. Li Duo was the same. He could stay up all night studying a corpse, but he'd be yawning constantly looking at other things. I sat alone at the table flipping through, focusing on Yang Shu's 2 roommates, and of course Yang Shu's girlfriend, Guijie, now a female officer at the Xiqing District Public Security Branch. I closed the file, noted down 3 names, Guijie, Zhuwei, Wu Yao, locked the file away. I went to bed. 8 a.m. the next morning, woken up by someone. Su He was standing at the door with a girl. We got up. Principal Su, why are you here so early? To introduce a new member to the team, Lin Zi, a freshman, just like you, just turned 17. The girl in the blue Doraemon t-shirt stepped forward and smiled at me. Hello, Yi Yang. Throughout the last month of the holiday, I heard your name almost every day. Finally, I get to meet you in person. I shook her hand gently, looked at Su He with a playful smile. Principal Su, what is your relationship with Lin Zi? Su He coughed dryly, feeling a bit embarrassed. But Lin Zi looked nonchalant. He is my grandfather, but that won't affect our cooperation. I've already organized the files. Currently, there are 3 main suspects: Yang Shu's girlfriend, Guijie, his roommate Zhu Wei, with whom he had a bad relationship, and Wu Yao, who has a crush on Guijie. Zhou Chao and Li Duo were stunned. A smile appeared on my face. Student Lin Zi, on behalf of the group, welcome aboard. I spent the whole night sorting out 3 breakthroughs. All 3 are closely related to Yang Shu. It seems easy to find clues from them, but in Lin Zi's and my opinion, they aren't just breakthroughs. The killer is likely among them. Su He had already left. Lin Zi stayed behind, glanced at the dorm and asked, "It's daylight. What should we do now?" I smiled and arranged. Zhou Chao, you go find Wu Yao with the security officer. Li Duo, you go find Zhu Hai. Student Lin, let's go find Guijie together. This is probably what Principal Su wants to see most. Sure, no problem. Lin Zi smiled slightly. We quickly freshened up and left the dorm. While going downstairs, many boys were stunned when they saw Lin Zi, but no one paid them any mind. At the school gate, Lin Zi and I hailed a taxi and sat in a coffee shop near the Xiqing branch. I dialed Guijie's number. Officer Gue, I am Yi Yang from the Beijing Police Academy. I assume you already know about the murder case. There are some details I need to verify with you. Guijie on the other end wasn't surprised. She said okay, and hung up. Lin Zi stirred her coffee and asked, Student Yi, why didn't Guijie contact the school proactively? How suspicious do you think she is? I pursed my lips. Normally, she is the prime suspect. Her boyfriend is dead, yet she can still go to work normally. But do you know why I let Zhou Chao and Li Duo find the other 2? Lin Zi frowned and shook her head. It's simple. I ruled out Guijie last night. At least, the person who used a blunt object to kill Yang Shu is definitely not her, I said. Lin Zi became even more confused. In her view, Guijie was always the prime suspect. At that moment, Guijie appeared at the entrance of the coffee shop. She's here, I reminded her. Guijie walked over, took off her police cap, revealing her spirited short hair. She didn't look very well, but she still smiled. Hello, I am Guijie. Officer Gue, please have a seat. After she sat down, the waiter brought a cup of black coffee. Guijie looked at the cup and said bitterly, You even know I like black coffee. Is there anything about me that you don't know? Or should I say, in your minds, am I the most suspicious killer? Before you arrived, I told Student Lin that you are definitely not the killer, I said softly. Guijie looked at me in surprise. It felt as if everything froze. Why? I was the one closest to him, and the most likely to kill him. Why rule me out? She grit her teeth. From what I know, your relationship has always been great, and Yang Shu only had one girlfriend, you. Besides, the killer is male, unless you can produce a male voice. Otherwise, I don't believe it was you. Beside him, Lin Zi frowned. As a criminal investigation student, ruling out a suspect so arbitrarily is inappropriate. But what surprised her even more was that Guijie was now weeping uncontrollably. No, even if I didn't kill him, he must have died because of me. Yi Yang, I've heard of you. I never expected that the person coming for me would be you. With your intellect, you shouldn't be wasting your time on me. I narrowed my eyes and asked almost without hesitation. So you also think the killer is Zhu Hai or Wu Yao? Has Wu Yao been secretly crushing on you? Lin Zi pressed. The bitter smile on Guijie's face deepened. If I told you that both Zhu Hai and Wu Yao have been pursuing me, would you believe it? Of course we believe it. Senior has a spirited aura of a police officer, yet doesn't lose her femininity. Moreover, just like Yang Shu, you were one of the most outstanding students of the previous class. Yes, there were many excellent students in the last class. Yang Shu, Li Huan, Zhao Yirei, even the equally talented Zhu Hai could only be considered second tier. But there's one thing neither you nor I expected. Those who disappeared this summer weren't just Yang Shu alone. Lin Zi and I both changed expression. Guijie took out her phone. On it were call logs to Yang Shu, Shu Hai and Wu Yao each had 100 or 200 calls. This means that not only Yang Shu disappeared over the summer, but Zhu Hai and Wu Yao vanished as well. I immediately called Zhou Chao. Did you find Zhu Hai? Don't even mention it. Yi Yang, I have a bad feeling, Shu Hai's parents said, that after graduation, just like Yang Shu, he went to a remote mountainous area to teach. My expression calmed down, and I said softly, I see, staring at the phone. As expected, Li Duo also called. Before he could speak, I asked first, did Wu Yao also go to teach? Yes. How did you know? I just heard, I replied, my gaze falling on Guijia once more. At this moment, Guijia seemed as if her soul had been drained. She kept repeating, dead, all of them are dead. They really are all dead. Lindsay and I looked at each other, our hearts racing with urgency. Guizian, what exactly do you know? Did Zhu Hai and Wu Yao also disappear at the same time as Yang Shu? I pressed. Guijia's face was pale. Yes, a month ago, I learned Zhu Hai went to teach. Half a month ago, I learned Wu Yao went to teach. At that time, I really thought they had gone. Until last night, when the school notified me that Yang Shu was dead, that's when I realized. Who told you the news that they went to teach? I pressed. I called the three of them almost every day. Later, I felt something was wrong, so I started contacting their families. Their families all said they went to remote mountains and were unreachable. I tried to find them in the capital, board game cafes, competition centers, and even used my private connections to check hotel records. But there was no registration information for them in the whole country. Now that Yang Shu is dead, Zhu Hai and Wu Yao should be appearing soon, right? Guijia stopped speaking. Lindsay and I asked again, did the three of them in dorm 314 have any conflicts with anyone? I don't know. I really don't know. Yi Yang, Lindsay, no one wants to find the killer more than I do. 3 people. My boyfriend and my 2 best classmates. Guijia clenched her fists. I frowned and said, that's not right. As far as I know, Shu Hai and Yang Shu didn't get along. Yang Shu and Zhu Hai didn't get along. And he didn't get along with Wu Yao either. But whenever something happened, the 3 of them were each other's most trusted buddies. I can agree with that. Every school probably has students like that. They can't stand each other normally. But once any one of them is bullied, they become more united than anyone. Alright then, Guijia, we won't disturb you any longer. I've found there's nothing more to ask. Guijia took a deep breath and stood up. Just as she was about to leave, she turned back, pleading with us to find the 3 of them as soon as possible. Once they are all together, I will go see them. She left. Lindsay looked at her departing figure and said, it seems like she's hiding something from us. Yeah, but it probably has nothing to do with the case, I said indifferently. Lindsay thought for a moment and said softly, the relationship between Senior Gua and those 3 seniors seems really complicated. Even if she misses Yang Shu, is it necessary to call Shu Hai and Wu Yao hundreds of times? I smiled and didn't say anything more. The 2 of us headed back to school. In my mind, Zhu Hai and Wu Yao were the prime suspects, but the case took a completely unexpected turn. In this situation, any 10 people who came would be shocked. No one expected it. Lindsay's expression was grave. I glanced at her and asked with a smile, what's wrong? Feeling frustrated? Not quite. I'm just wondering, what kind of person could take out 3 outstanding students under those circumstances? Also, where are the bodies of Shu Hai and Wu Yao? Without thinking, I said, at school. Lindsay looked up. Almost every part of the school is occupied right now. After the incident with Yang Shu, a large-scale cleanup began. If their bodies were there, they should have been discovered by now. Besides the water tower, where else in school? Do you think would be easy to hide bodies? I asked. Lindsay frowned, thinking hard but couldn't come up with a place. The car fell silent. Just then, Lindsay's phone and mine both received a notification from the school's official account. Today is the 2nd day of school, and also the annual tree planting day of Jingjing. All students are requested to go to the school's back mountain before 1800 hours today to plant your own Jingjing green tree. Tree planting is a tradition at Jingjing. Every freshman plants a sapling on the back mountain. 4 years later, as the trees grow, they also grow from students into capable public security officers. Lindsay looked at the notification, a bitter expression on her face. At a time like this, who would be in the mood to go? As she said this, she paused, and suddenly looked at me. But I had already shouted to the driver, "Driver, please go faster. We need to reach the back mountain of Beijing Academy in 10 minutes. The taxi soon arrived at the back gate of Beijing Academy. When Lindsay and I got out, we saw many students gathering in the backyard. Despite the murder, other students' activities continued as usual. I spotted one gang, who was organizing the activity, and ran over to say, "Director, please suspend the tree planting activity for now." Wang Gang frowned. "Weren't you investigating Yang Shu's case? What are you doing here?" "Director Wang, Shu Hai and Wu Yao are missing. Their parents said they went to volunteer teach with Yang Shu. Now we suspect that Zhu Hai and Wu Yao have also met with misfortune. Their bodies are likely hidden in this forest." Wang Gang looked at me in disbelief. "What nonsense are you talking? Only Yang Shu died. How could Zhu Hai and Wu Yao have also met with an accident?" "Director Wang, whether you believe it or not, to prevent the scene from being compromised, the activity must be suspended immediately," Lindsay added. Wang Gang thought for a moment. "All right, then hurry into the woods. I'll have the security department assist you." Lindsay and I nodded, and ran toward the woods, while reminding him that once Li Duo and Zhou Chao return, they should come in immediately. Every tree on the back hill of the academy represents a student. This was a rule established after the new principal took office. So although there are many trees on the back hill, not many belong to students. We headed straight for the student planting area. The killer once told Yang Shu's parents that they would see him in 2 days. I originally thought he only meant Yang Shu. Now that I think about it, those words might have included Zhu Hai and Wu Yao. He probably meant that in 2 days, the parents of all three would see the bodies. If this hypothesis is correct, Zhu Hai and Wu Yao's bodies are likely hanging from the trees they planted themselves. As we slowly entered the planting area, a faint smell of decay drifted in with the wind. The scent wasn't strong, but Lindsay and I were already certain the bodies were just ahead. Arriving at the trees where Yang Shu, Zhu Hai, and Wu Yao were planted side by side, we indeed saw 2 decayed bodies hanging from the trees, a few crows perched on them, occasionally leaning down to peck. We took a few more steps forward, and the crows flew up in alarm, letting out miserable caws. "They really are here," Lindsay sighed. I didn't speak, slowly climbing up Shu Hai's tree. When I reached the body, the first thing I noticed was that the mouth was open. The tongue was missing. The upper and lower jaws were propped open by an iron nail. Just this scene brought a picture to my mind. Zhu Hai was brought here before he died, hung from the tree, and to prevent him from screaming, the killer cut out his tongue, and used a nail to keep his mouth from closing. Lindsay, below the tree, wasn't idle either, searching the ground. Soon she made a new discovery. There were pools of blood beneath both trees. Standing on the branch, I checked other parts of Zhu Hai's body. I pulled down his pants, and my gaze froze. If Zhou Chao were here, he'd probably say, "Where's the bird? Did the crows eat it?" I then climbed up Wu Yao's tree. The tongue was also missing, and there was an iron nail propping it open. As for what was in the pants, it had also vanished. Just as I thought, I lamented. Lindsay didn't turn around. For students of the academy, when handling a case, they only see the deceased, regardless of gender. But she couldn't see clearly from below, so she asked curiously, "Is it the same as Yang Shu?" "Yeah, the same yet different. Except for that part, Yang Shu's body wasn't intentionally mutilated. Zhu Hai and Wu Yao were different. Besides that part, their tongues were also gone. The killer must have been afraid of being heard." As I spoke, Lindsay said, "That must be it. There's a large amount of dried blood below. The killer didn't give them a quick death, but after cutting their tongues, cut their blood vessels, and almost drained them of all their blood. Yang Shu, Zhu Hai, Wu Yao, they were roommates. They had occasional friction, but they'd always step up for each other. The first one was Yang Shu. These two don't need DNA tests. They are definitely Zhu Hai and Wu Yao. They didn't have any enemies at school, nor were they bullies. What on earth was the reason for them to be treated this way? And there's one major question. Why was Yang Shu at the dormitory water tower, while Zhu Hai and Wu Yao were in the woods? The killer had no reason to do this, I whispered, my brow furrowed. When Zhu Hai and Wu Yao's bodies were carried out of the woods, the entire academy was in an uproar. Yang Shu's death had already caused a stir among students and teachers. The outside media had also reported on it quite a bit, although it was later suppressed by the academy's PR. Now 2 more victims had been added. The situation has escalated beyond the academy's control. Suva called our 4-person team into his office. His expression was more serious than ever. The death toll has now risen to 3. This is the most serious incident since the academy's founding. The Municipal Public Security Bureau has issued a notice. They will take full charge of the case. The academy will cooperate fully, and I will submit my resignation to the management today. Li Duo and Zhou Chao were shocked. Principal Su, what does this have to do with you? This is a major criminal case that occurred during Principal Su's tenure. He is the highest authority at the school. There's no other way. I sighed. Lindsay's face was full of reluctance, but she didn't want to make her grandfather sad, so she could only comfort him. Grandpa, please don't worry. Even if we no longer have direct investigative authority, we will definitely find the killer. Suhwa's gaze swept across us. He smiled and said, I believe in you. A case at the academy solved by academy students. That's the only way to regain our honor, and the best response to the deceased. All right, you may go and continue. We walked out of the principal's office. Lindsay's eyes were red. Don't be sad. Principal Sue might still be able to come back. I comforted her softly. Lindsay bit her lip. Everything happened too fast these past 2 days. So fast that we were completely unprepared. Now even our direct investigative authority has been revoked. Yi Yang, tell me what we should do next. Currently, we only have a few scattered clues. First, the person who called the parents of the 3 victims had the same voice. They claimed to have a cold, so the suspect is likely male. Second, the direction of the investigation should not change. This case is still heavily related to emotional entanglements. Third, and most importantly, we must figure out why Yang Shu was hidden in the water tower, while Shu Hai and Wu Yao were in the tree planting area. Lindsay suddenly realized something. You're right. The direction of the investigation cannot change. The hiding spots of the 3 bodies must be crucial. To understand the differences between the 3 bodies, we need to perform another autopsy. Li Duo, before the Municipal Bureau takes full control, we have to hurry. Once I finished speaking, the 4 of us immediately rushed to the forensic lab. But when we reached the door, we found several security officers guarding it. You 4, stop right there. What are you doing here? They blocked our way. Li Duo looked helpless. It seems they beat us to it. It's fine. If all else fails, we'll just force our way in. As I spoke, I continued to the security officers. We are the students from the academy originally in charge of the Yangshu case. We have important information to provide to your forensic examiner. You're from that previous investigation team? The officer didn't seem to believe us. I took out my student ID. As soon as they saw it, their faces immediately lit up with smiles. So it's young Master Yi. Everyone move aside. Let young Master Yi and his classmates in. Zhou Chao and Li Duo were shocked by my identity once again. Watching the officers step aside, they couldn't help but ask, Yi Yang, what exactly does your dad do? My dad is in the public security system. Then what about your grandfather? I turned around, with a strange smile. My grandfather is in the military academy. Holy shit, that's insane. One in public security, and one in the military. Don't tell me. Your mom and grandma are also big shots. There's nothing to hide. My mom is a national forensic expert. My grandma is about to retire, but she still holds the title of criminal investigation expert. After hearing my words, Zhou Chao and Li Duo felt their minds go blank. After a long while, a single thought popped into their heads. Turns out this whole family is full of monsters. I didn't say anything more. I pushed the door open and entered the lab. As soon as I entered, I saw a familiar figure circling the 3 bodies, touching here, moving there. Looking at that figure, a smile involuntarily appeared on my lips. But I didn't expect that after staring blankly for a moment, Li Duo would grab Zhou Chao's arm and stammer, "Oh my God! I'm seeing my idol, old Zhou. Pinch me quickly, to see if I'm dreaming." Zhou Chao slapped him on the back of the head. "What the hell are you doing? Where is there a celebrity here? Isn't it just a lady performing an autopsy? You idiot. Take a good look at who's performing the autopsy. She is an authority in the field of forensic medicine, one of the top forensic professors in the country. She is..." Before Li Duo could finish, I had already walked up to the woman and said with a smile, "You came without telling me in advance. I really didn't expect that my mother, Su Wanrong, would be in the public security forensic team." She looked at me, with a smile on her face. "Are you surprised? Is it unexpected?" "Very surprised and very unexpected. But now I feel I should have known sooner." The first principal of the Beijing Police Academy was Grandpa, and Father also graduated from here. Plus, I'm the lead investigator for this case, so it's perfectly normal for you to be here. After I spoke, Su Wanrong walked over and teased, "You're a smart kid. I thought I'd have to wait until the holidays to see you." I didn't expect such a major incident to happen at the academy. Seeing us talk so much, Li Duo finally couldn't resist stepping forward, with a look of admiration. "Professor Su, I'm Li Duo, Yi Yang's roommate, a student in the forensics department. I've always admired you, and I finally get to meet you in person today. So I've met a little fan, have I? Then tell me quickly, does Yi Yang look like me?" Su Wanrong asked with great interest. Li Duo nodded without a second thought. "Yes, he looks exactly like you." "Alright, let's get to business. Mom, you've been examining for a while, right? Are there any clues?" I brought up the main topic. Su Wanrong picked up a document from the table. "This is the autopsy report you gave to Principal Su. The main person examined was this young man, right? Examine him again carefully. Being a forensic doctor requires the utmost caution and detail. In this report of yours, you missed something very important. Li Duo was stunned. Zhou Chao reacted quickly, kicking him in the calf. What are you still standing there for? This is the best time for you to learn. Professor Su is giving you a chance. Thank you, Professor Su. I'll examine him again right away. Li Duo quickly put on his lab coat and began re-examining Yang Shu's body with a solemn expression. Lindsay and Zhou Chao stood to the side and waited. After a while, Lindsay whispered, Yi Yang, I really envy you. What is there to envy about me? It's not your family background I envy, but that you have such a wonderful mother. Her tone is not harsh at all, and she makes you the center of attention in any situation. That's what I envy the most. I understand. Perhaps Lindsay's mother had always been very strict with her. In your eyes, my mom is great, but in my father's heart, this is called a doting mother spoils the child. I joked. Lindsay smiled faintly, said nothing more, and quietly waited for the results. After an unknown amount of time, after Li Duo finished examining Yang Shu's body again, his expression changed. Zhou Chao wanted to step forward and ask if there was a new discovery. I held him back, and quietly waited for Li Duo to continue examining Zhu Hai and Wu Yao's bodies. After a long while, Li Duo stopped what he was doing, walked to Su Wanrong, and bowed slightly. Professor Su, thank you for your guidance. I won't make such a rookie mistake again. The three of us walked over. Su Wanrong asked with a smile. Then tell me, what did you overlook? I overlooked their internal organs. After examining the organs of the three bodies, all showed signs of poisoning to some extent, and it was chronic poisoning, even if no one killed them. In a year or two, the toxins accumulated in the body might have slowly killed them. Li Duo's words meant a new clue had surfaced. Before they were murdered, the three victims had been poisoned over a long period. What kind of poison was it? I asked. They all had large amounts of chloramphenicol in their bodies. This is an antibiotic, mainly used to treat typhoid, salmonella, and so on. But if taken long-term, it can lead to damage in the digestive system, nervous system, hematopoietic system, liver, and other bodily functions. In other words, if they had continued using it, their health would have deteriorated, and could eventually lead to death. After Li Duo finished speaking, a look of great surprise appeared on Lindsay's face. Students at the police academy all eat at the canteen. There's no other way. The water source is also a possibility, Zhou Chao said. I shook my head. The water source is impossible, because only the three boys in dorm 314 were poisoned. Since it's the canteen, why didn't others show symptoms of poisoning? Zhou Chao asked. So we need to investigate the reason. Let's start with the canteen. Everyone needs to be questioned, especially regarding whether Yang Shu and the other two had any differences in their meals compared to other students. Then what are we waiting for? Let's hurry to the canteen. We can't let the security detail beat us to it, Zhou Chao urged. But I didn't move. After thinking for a moment, I said, since they were poisoned, why kill them? Could it be because they were about to graduate, and the poisoner feared they'd no longer have access to them? The one who poisoned them might not be the actual murderer. My words were like a bucket of cold water over everyone. Yes, even if we find the person who poisoned them, it doesn't completely prove they are the direct killer. Su Wanrong stayed in the lab. Li Duo was reluctant to leave, wanting to learn more from her. I agreed. After all, my mother's reputation is so renowned. Which forensic student wouldn't want to learn real skills from her? I don't know what got into Zhou Chao, but seeing Li Duo stay, he actually requested to stay as well. Su Wanrong was quite happy to have two assistants to boss around, so she let them both stay. Lindsay and I left the lab. Those security officers nodded with a smile again. We both smiled back, and hurried to find the next person to question. Logistics Director Wang Gang. Wang Gang was surprised by our arrival, but once we arrived, he asked with a smile, is there something you two need? Director Wang. We want to ask some things about the canteen. The canteen is under your jurisdiction, right? I asked. Wang Gang nodded. The canteen is within my jurisdiction. Go ahead. What do you want to ask? So many things are happening at school right now. I'm truly too busy. I want to ask if there are any special cases regarding student meals. For example, the meals Yang Shu and the other graduates ate. Were they different from other students? Wang Gang denied it outright. That's impossible. The academy wouldn't provide special meals for just a few students, nor have I noticed any students' meals being better or worse than others. Is the school canteen contracted to an outside party? I asked again. That is the case, but the situation you mentioned still couldn't happen in the canteen. I felt there was no need to continue questioning whether Wang Gang's words were true or false. There would be no point in him covering it up. up. He probably really didn't know. I didn't ask further. Lindsay and I took our leave and walked out of the office. Lindsay asked with a frown, "Are we really going straight to the canteen? Wouldn't that alert the culprit? Did you forget that we have someone else who can provide clues?" I said with a smile. Lindsay realized it almost immediately. "Oh right, there's still Guijie. She was so close to Yang Shu and the others. She must know something." We agreed, left the school again, and contacted Guijie to meet at that coffee shop again. Although we no longer have primary investigative authority, Guijie's attitude hasn't worsened. "You're looking for me today. Is there a new clue?" Guijie asked as soon as we met. I got straight to the point. "You probably know the bodies of Zhu Hai and Wu Yao were found. I'm here today, regarding the poisoning of the three of them." Guijie looked puzzled. "Poisoning?" "Yes. The latest autopsy shows that the three of them had a long period of chloramphenicol poisoning. We suspect it's related to their diet. The only place to eat at the academy is the canteen. You were closest to them. You should know something, right?" Just as I finished speaking, Guijie's expression suddenly changed. Although the change was quickly hidden, my eyes caught it. That look left me very confused. Guijie then spoke. "Are you sure the canteen is the only possibility?" Lindsay and I both nodded. Then Guijie said, "If that's the case, then only one person could have poisoned them. He's a young employee at the canteen, named Fan Yen, in his early 20s, a cousin of the canteen contractor. Although Fan Yen is young, he likes to be stingy. Every time it was his turn to serve the students, the portions were very small. Yang Shu had conflicts with him over this. Later, he and Zhu Hai and Wu Yao, unable to take it, cornered him and beat him up. Since then, Fan Yen was exceptionally friendly whenever he saw them, and every time, he would take some hidden side dishes and secretly give them to eat. At first, Yang Shu and the others were dismissive, but later they gradually got used to it. During that time, Fan Yan's relationship with them was actually quite good." After Guijie finished, I smiled and said, "As expected, I can get a lot of information from you. If nothing unexpected happens, the poisoner should be this Fan Yan." "Alright, senior, you get back to your work. We have to head back to school." "Okay," Guijie said, preparing to stand up and leave. But this time, she stopped again. It was I who stopped her. "Senior, did you often eat with Yang Shu and the others?" I asked suddenly. Guijie turned around, her expression calm. "Often, but not always. Don't worry, I'll go to the hospital for a checkup tomorrow." "Take care, senior," I said with a smile. Guijie left. Lindsay looked at her retreating figure, mentioning again what was said during the first meeting. "I've always felt she's very strange." I just smiled, without saying much, just watching Guijie's back. But suddenly a decision formed in my mind. After Lindsay and I had a brief meeting with Guijie, we immediately returned to school. There were many more security officers at school, all transferred from the city bureau to handle the case of Yang Shu and the others. The academy is a talent training base for the security system, a major case involving 3 deaths occurring here. Not only the city bureau, but even my father, Yi Zhengbang, had to take it seriously. Lindsay and I intended to go straight to the canteen, but we encountered a middle-aged couple on the way. Their faces were full of sorrow. Lindsay and I glanced at each other, thinking these might be the parents of one of the 3. I stepped forward. "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. My name is Yi Yang. I was a student from the academy, responsible for the case of Yang Shu, Zhu Hai, and Wu Yao. May I ask who you are?" "We are Yang Shu's parents. Is there something you need?" Yang Shu's father asked. But after Yang Shu's mother looked us over, she said with a strange expression, "Is the academy this careless? How old are you two? How can you investigate a case?" "Ma'am, Lindsay and I are indeed young, but all the current investigative leads are being taken from us. The reason we stopped you is that we just wanted to ask, in that phone call, did he say anything to you at the time?" "Without a doubt, the person who called the 3 sets of parents is the real killer. The call was just some polite inquiries. The only things I remember were about how hard teaching in rural areas is, and telling us to take care of our health." I nodded. "Did you record it? What was the date of the call? How long did you talk?" "Who would have thought to record it back then? I only remember it was the 21st of last month. The call lasted almost an hour. We all thought it was really Yang Shu. The voice had a heavy nasal sound from a cold, but the tone of voice was exactly like his." "Okay, I understand. Uncle, Auntie, please accept my condolences." I didn't ask anything more. Yang Shu's parents left in sorrow. Lindsay took a look. "Let's go to the cafeteria now." "No rush. Let's go ask Zhu Hai and Wu Yao's parents first." After I said that, I went to find the other two couples. They were all staying temporarily in the school dorms. In terms of family background, Yan Shu's family was the best off. His father was a successful businessman, with assets over 100 million. The poorest was Zhu Hai, from an ordinary farming family. His parents were simple and honest. Lindsay and I asked the same questions: whether there was a recording, how long the call lasted, the date of the call. After asking, I found that everyone's answer was the same. The call was from the 21st of last month. The voice was male, with a heavy cold. The call lasted at least half an hour. It seems we are very close to the real killer. Is that so? When we walked out of Wu Yao's parents' room, a smile finally appeared on Lindsay's face. It should be soon. Now is the time to find evidence. I also chuckled softly, but I didn't expect Zhou Chao and Li Duo to come running over. Yi Yang, Lindsay, the security guards arrested a cafeteria employee for intentional homicide. They're about to take him back to the station. The two of them shouted breathlessly. Hearing this, I immediately frowned. Who leaked the news? It definitely couldn't be Su Wanrong. It's only been a few hours since we knew about the poisoning. She could have easily kept it hidden. It seems to be Director Wang. After you asked Director Wang about the cafeteria, he immediately reported it to security. I heard that as soon as security heard you were asking about the cafeteria, they immediately started investigating the cafeteria staff. I couldn't help but sneer. Zhao Qingyang's subordinates are quite good at opportunism. I was interested in Fang Yan, but since they caught him, let them. Don't blame me when they embarrass themselves. After saying that, I walked back. Lindsay followed closely behind, asking in a low voice, "Aren't you going to take a look? What's there to see? The one who poisoned them is Fang Yan. He can't escape. It's only natural that he was caught. By the way, Student Lin, why have you been following me?" Lindsay was stunned for a moment. "To investigate the case." "Investigate what?" "People aren't made of iron. We've forgotten to eat and sleep these past 2 days. We need a good rest. Of course, if Student Lin thinks the girl's dorm environment is bad, you are more than welcome in my dorm." Seeing me grinning, Lindsay glared at me. She left a sentence and walked away. "In your dreams." For 2 whole days, I was busy with the capital's homicide case. Lindsay thought I was lying about going back to rest. She didn't expect that I really just kept sleeping. Until the sun went down, I finally woke up. Lindsay, who had come to find me in the meantime, had already left the boys' dorm. I stretched lazily, and saw some food on the table. I looked over curiously. "Saw that you hadn't eaten. Bought this for you. Don't thank me." The handwriting was elegant, clearly a girl's handwriting. I opened the lunchbox with a smile, feeling it was still warm, and began to eat happily, full stomach, ready to work. It was already dark outside. Neither Zhou Chao nor Li Duo were around. I walked out alone, leaving the school. I hailed a taxi at the school gate, and told the driver a location, Phoenix residential area. After the car arrived, I felt as if I had been here before. I headed straight for building A3. I went up to the 12th floor. I stood outside one of the rooms and knocked. Seeing no response, I took something out of my pocket. Just a few seconds later, the door opened. I stepped inside. A faint fragrance lingered in the air. The decor was typical of a young woman. I bet no one would expect that I would come to Guijia's home tonight. Her home seemed unremarkable, but I was in no rush. Since my meeting with Guijia, I've always felt there was something inexplicable about her. In my previous assessment, Guijia was the least suspicious person, but being the least suspicious doesn't mean she's entirely without suspicion. I never completely rule out anyone involved in a case. I came here now while she was out, hoping to see if there were any new discoveries. I walked around the living room. I circled the hall. Then I went into the bedroom. The room was still in a minimalist style, but there was a very large wardrobe. Looking at that wardrobe, I became extremely curious. From what I knew, Guijia was quite carefree during her student days, and wasn't that keen on clothes, shoes, or cosmetics, the things most girls like, so she wouldn't need such a large wardrobe. It would only make the room feel crowded. This didn't fit her style. I slowly walked up to the wardrobe, and gently opened the door. Inside were Guijia's clothes, mostly black and white t-shirts and casual wear. I took a glance, and found nothing unusual. I withdrew my hand and was about to close it, but then I caught a scent. The smell in the wardrobe seemed unusual, so I pushed the clothes aside one by one, because I smelled a hint of sandalwood. As the clothes were pushed aside, the scent of sandalwood became stronger. Looking closely, behind a row of clothes, there was actually a hidden compartment. I immediately opened the compartment. The sight inside made my heart skip a beat. 2 electric candles emitted a faint glow. The sandalwood scent was coming from a small incense burner. A fair amount of ash had accumulated in the burner, likely for at least a month or 2. I reached into the ash, but my eyes were fixed on the two photos hanging in the compartment. They were photos of two young men, in their 20s, with youthful smiles on their faces. They were exactly Wu Yao and Zhu Hai, found later in the woods. But if there are photos of them, why is Yang Shu's missing? This is Guijie's home. Even for mourning, she should have mourned Yang Shu first. Why are only Zhu Hai's and Wu Yao's photos hanging here? Between friends, is it really necessary to worship daily like this? It's not that I don't believe in friendship. It's just that very few friends can hang funeral photos and burn incense daily. It's truly far too rare. At this moment, it felt as if I had unveiled another layer of the case. I had always linked Yang Shu, Zhu Hai, and Wu Yao together, until after the bodies of the latter two were found. I first had the thought that I should separate them. But a thought is just a thought. I hadn't acted on it yet. But seeing now Hu Guijie is mourning in her home, I seem to have realized I've truly met my match. Yang Shu, Zhu Hai, and Wu Yao's cases must be separated. If the deaths of these three are kept together, then it might never be solved. I looked at the two photos in the compartment, thinking, as Yang Shu's girlfriend, why didn't Guijie mourn him? Is Yang Shu not dead? That's impossible. The autopsy report is ironclad evidence. Yang Shu is dead. His body was gnawed beyond recognition by rats. Could it be that the killer of Zhu Hai and Wu Yao is not the same person who killed Yang Shu? Guijie, congratulations, you've become the prime suspect once again. I gently closed the compartment, rearranged the clothes. After ensuring it wouldn't arouse suspicion, I checked the time. It was almost 9 o'clock. Guijie should be off work soon. After carefully checking that there were no surveillance devices, I opened the door and left. 10 minutes later, Guijie returned home. She turned on the lights and took off her police uniform, opened the wardrobe and pushed aside the clothes. Light a stick of sandalwood incense. The smoke curls upward. Guijie stands silently, neither speaking nor moving. No one knows that she actually does this every day. After standing for an hour, she bows slightly to the mirror and says good night. The night seemed to pass peacefully. I received a call from Li Duo on my way back to school. Yiyang, where are you? Why is no one in the dorm? It was stuffy in school. I went out for a walk. Is something wrong? Professor Su and I conducted a deep examination of the three bodies. There are new discoveries. Come back quickly. I urged the driver to get back to school faster, heading straight for the lab. After entering, Li Duo said excitedly, you guessed right. Yang Shu, Zhu Hai, and Wu Yao died at different times. Zhu Hai and Wu Yao died first. Yang Shu was the last to die. I thought to myself, as expected. Can you determine the time difference between the deaths? Precise data is difficult, but the time difference between them should be within 5 days. Su Wanrong added. I nodded, glanced around the lab, and suddenly asked, where's Lindsay? She hasn't come yet. I just called her. It seems she's also out. I didn't ask further. Pulled Su Wanrong aside. Mom, you're a woman. Help me analyze this. Not commemorating her boyfriend after his death, but instead commemorating his two friends. Why? Su Wanrong frowned. You mean Guijie? She didn't commemorate Yang Shu, but instead Zhu Hai and Wu Yao. Yes. Mom, you're a woman. You should understand a woman's heart better than I do. Su Wanrong lowered her head and thought for a moment. The more she thought, the more she shook her head. It's only been 3 days since Yang Shu died. Shouldn't she be heartbroken right now? Why would she think of commemorating them? She's been commemorating them for a month or two. Su Wanrong's expression changed drastically. Commemorating for a month or two? If she did that, wouldn't she be the prime suspect? Exactly. But the person on the phone was a man. Guijie was one of the most outstanding students of the previous class, with an exceptional mind for criminal investigation, good combat skills. She even knows a bit of forensics. A very well-rounded student. I was wondering, could she possibly change her voice? Su Wanrong didn't know how to answer. She even found it hard to believe, because she had seen Guijie today. The latter had come to visit the three of them, including Yang Shu. At the time, Su Wanrong actually quite liked the girl, especially knowing how excellent she was at the Beijing Police Academy. But now everything is telling everyone that the suspicion on Guijie is growing, except for the voice not matching. Guijie has all the convenient conditions to commit the crime. She must have been the one the three of them trusted most, and the most capable of killing them silently. Su Wanrong finally looked up. Yang Shu certainly wasn't the love of her life. The one she truly loved should be Zhu Hai or one of Wu Yao. I even suspect that she might still hate Yang Shu in her heart. Otherwise, none of this makes sense. There's an intuition in a woman's understanding of another woman. I used my mother's guess as a basis, but I didn't expect Lindsay, who had been absent, to return at this moment. She rushed into the lab without knocking. Gasping for breath, she shouted, Yi Yang, I've found a major clue. Last semester, Yang Shu was sent to the US for a month of advanced study. After he returned, Guijia might have been pregnant. I immediately walked up to Lindsay. Where did this clue come from? From a girl in the previous class who got along terribly with Guijia. Haven't we been investigating their social circle all along? I looked in the opposite direction. I didn't expect this to happen. The best part is yet to come. While Yang Shu was abroad, Guijia was away from school one night. That day was Wu Yao's birthday. The two boys from 314 were also gone. 2 weeks after Yang Shu returned to the country, Guijia took a week-long leave. 5 days after that week ended, the Beijing Police Academy went on break. I began to summarize Lindsay's clues. Guijia might be pregnant. None of the three were at school on the night of Wu Yao's birthday. Guijia took a leave of absence after returning to the country. If her pregnancy is true, that week was likely spent dealing with the pregnancy. Once she went to deal with it, it must be because Yang Shu found out. In that case, could it be that during the month Yang Shu was away, the relationship between Guijia and Zhu Hai or Wu Yao changed subtly, turning from friendship into something romantic? After Yang Shu found out, he killed Zhu Hai and Wu Yao in a rage, and after Guijia learned of this, she killed Yang Shu. If all these hypotheses are correct, then Guijia is terrifying, because she's been acting for the past month or two, without missing a single day. In her phone records, she never failed to call Zhu Hai, Wu Yao, and Yang Shu. Every time the phone rang, it never lasted less than 10 seconds. And what's most unbelievable is, Guijia didn't even help cover for Zhu Hai and Wu Yao. Was she afraid of revealing her own tracks and killing Yang Shu? Hypotheses popped up in my mind one after another, but no one expected the security officer outside to walk in at this moment, his tone filled with immense excitement. Professor Su, young Master Yi, the real killer has been found. It's Fan Yen, a cafeteria employee. The city bureau just called. Fan Yen has already confessed. Everyone in the lab looked incredulous. In their minds, the real killer could never be that cafeteria worker, Fan Yen. He used poison, unless he was worried he couldn't kill Yang Shu and the others before graduation. But does Fan Yen have the ability to brutally kill 3 police academy students at once? I don't believe it. From the moment I left Guijia's house, I had already suspected there were 2 killers. Why would Fan Yen confess? After the security officer who came to notify us left, Lindsay immediately said, "This is impossible. Fan Yen is definitely not the killer. Although he's an indirect killer, the real killer isn't him." It seems the city bureau is eager to show off their capabilities to the public. If nothing unexpected happens, all the major newspapers tomorrow morning will report the news of Fan Yan's arrest. They might even hold a press conference. Plenty of people are following this case, Su Wanrong said. A cold smile curled on my lips. Then let Zhao Qingyang play his game. We have 1 night left. Once he dares to hold a press conference tomorrow, and if I find the opportunity, then Zhao Qingyang's dreams of advancing his political career will remain just a dream. I support this. Only Yi Yang. We might not even have 12 hours left. I didn't speak. I just stared at the 3 bodies and said, "Lindsay, let's go find that girl you contacted before." Although Lindsay didn't know my purpose, she still nodded and quickly walked out in Su Wanrong's car. The 2 of us arrived at the apartment building in East City, Kyoto. Lindsay made a phone call. Shortly after, a girl came downstairs. After getting into the car, the girl asked curiously, "Junior, is there something else? I've told you everything I know. The one who wants to ask you is me. There are a few things I don't understand, and I hope you can help us clarify them," I said with a smile. The girl looked at me. "All right, since you're such a handsome junior, I'll tell you everything." I didn't take those words to heart. "How did you notice signs that Guijia was pregnant? I'm her classmate." She often had dry heaving before taking leave. Plus, she suddenly took 7 days off, which is why I suspected it. I nodded. "Fine. How are you so sure about the relationship between Guijia, Zhu Hai, and Wu Yao?" Actually, it wasn't a secret. Many people knew at the time, because the next day Guijia was arguing with Zhu Hai and Wu Yao, and kept asking who exactly it was. My mind seemed to clear further. I smiled and asked, "One last question. What do you think of Guijia?" Guijia? Although I really dislike her, always feeling she's too aloof, I have to admit, her grades are truly outstanding. She's practically a genius in criminal investigation. Back in school, during every case simulation, she found the killer 7 out of 10 times. If it were you, do you think if Guijia committed the crime, how well could she pull it off? I smiled and said, no one would suspect her. Even if they did, they would immediately rule her out. I didn't ask further. All right. Thanks for the information, senior. If there's a chance in the future, we'll treat you to dinner. The girl nodded with a smile, but as she was about to get out of the car, she suddenly asked, if possible, you don't have to treat me to dinner. Can you let me see Yang Shu? I can guarantee you might be able to see him tomorrow. Okay, I'll wait. After saying that, the girl got out and left. To Lindsay, she didn't feel like anything valuable had been uncovered, but from my face, she read something called conviction. Do you have a new idea? Lindsay asked. I can be absolutely certain that Gui Jie is the murderer of Yang Shu. As for Zhu Hai and Wu Yao, Yang Shu probably killed them, right? I said. Lindsay didn't rush to ask why, but started calculating for herself. On the night of Wu Yao's birthday, Gui Jie had a relationship with Zhu Hai and the others, and then became pregnant. Yang Shu found out. The files show that Yang Shu was not only outstanding, but also arrogant. He certainly couldn't tolerate it, so he killed Zhu Hai and Wu Yao. But by then, Gui Jie might have had a relationship with Zhu Hai or Wu Yao that had reached another level. So in her pain, she trapped and killed Yang Shu, and forged everything. Right. I didn't answer her question, but suddenly felt I had missed something. As I kept thinking in my mind, wondering what exactly I had missed, an article suddenly surfaced. In the capital, there was one skilled in vocal mimicry, who hosted a grand banquet for guests, in the northeast of the government office. This piece is familiar to many students. It's called vocal mimicry. And tonight, when I went to Gui Jie's house, there was a piece of calligraphy on the wall, and it was this very piece. The person who signed it was also surnamed Gui. This piece of brush calligraphy seemed to have become something crucial at this moment. Although it cannot serve as evidence, it has become my strongest basis for confirming Gui Jie is the real killer. Let's go. We're going back to the lab, I said. Lindsay looked at me. You don't still want to look for clues on the body, do you? Except for the body. We don't have time to look for evidence now. Someone as outstanding as Gui Jie couldn't have left us any evidence. But Gui Jie is smart, and Yang Shu was smart too, unless he was truly killed instantly by a hammer blow. Otherwise he must have left something behind. A hammer can indeed be fatal, but what if Yang Shu didn't die on the spot? He might have struggled. And then there's the primary crime scene, which we've never found. Where is it? Perhaps it's hidden in the place people find most impossible. Where is the primary crime scene that has now been ruled out? The rooftop. The place Zhou Chao ruled out. Lindsay and I rushed back to school as fast as possible, heading straight into the lab. When Su Wanrong saw us, she immediately asked, "Did you find the evidence?" "No, but it's certain that Gui Jie was involved in the case." "Mom, now you and Li Duo work a bit longer, and perform a more thorough examination of the body, especially the fingernails and the oral cavity. Zhou Chao, go prepare the luminol solution." Zhou Chao asked in surprise, "Did you find the primary crime scene?" "Not sure, but I want to use luminol on the rooftop to reconstruct it, to see if that really was the primary crime scene. Luminol reagent isn't hard to prepare, but the light it emits from blood is extremely faint. It must be done in the dark, or in a well-shaded area. It was already late at night. Zhou Chao and Li Duo immediately went to prepare the reagent. Once it was ready, Li Duo stayed behind to help Su Wanrong, while I took Zhou Chao and Lindsay to the roof of dormitory building B. The prepared reagent was limited. It's impossible to prepare a large quantity in such a short time. The three of them arrived at the rooftop. Zhou Chao and Lindsay both looked at me, as if asking where to spray first. I looked around. Gui Jie has some fighting ability, but it's unlikely she carried the body into the water tower, if one wanted Yang Shu to die without any preparation. Behind this iron door is the best hiding spot. Zhou Chao, spray the reagent in a straight line from the iron door to the tower. Zhou Chao nodded. Then, taking the reagent, he sprayed it bit by bit along the straight line I pointed out. As long as there were bloodstains on the ground, no matter if they were cleaned or how long ago it happened, they would all be revealed. The reagent slowly extended toward the water tower. Before Zhou Chao even reached the water tower, tiny fluorescent spots began to appear on the ground. One area was continuously expanding. I immediately took out my phone to take photos. At that moment, a pair of fluorescent footprints appeared before my eyes. I immediately shouted, "Lindsay, what shoe size does Yang Shu wear?" "I think it's 43. How big do you think this pair on the ground is?" "It should only be 37. A look of immense joy appeared on Lindsay's face as she spoke. A pair of size 37 footprints appearing now was simply an incredible piece of evidence. Such small footprints rarely appear on men. I had observed. Gui Jie's feet are considered large for a woman. Size 37 is a large foot for a woman. I leaned in to photograph the footprints. Then, more footprints slowly appeared. Those footprints faded with distance. distance. That was because the blood on the soles was slowly wiped dry. As I watched Zhou Chao spray the reagent at the base of the water tower, I shouted, "Spray around the water tower once more. Let me see if the outline of the murder weapon appears." Zhou Chao nodded. Before he even finished spraying, the outline of half a hammer was revealed. I smiled and exited the camera mode, and called Su Wanrong. "Mom, no more testing needed. Has the Municipal Bureau confirmed the press conference?" "Confirmed. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, the Beijing Police Academy playground," Su Wanrong replied. "All right then, we're done for tonight. Tomorrow morning, I'll invite Guijie to attend the press conference." The night passed quickly. Early morning, the sun shone brightly. As a recent hotspot, the Beijing Police Academy was bustling with people today. Students gathered on the playground early in the morning, waiting for the press conference. I woke up at 7 a.m. The first thing I did was call Guijie. She answered quickly. I said, "Senior, the real culprit of the case has been found. Today, the Municipal Bureau will hold a press conference at Jingjing to make the case public. Your wish can be fulfilled today." Guijie was silent for 2 or 3 seconds on the other end. Then she said in a heavy voice, "Yi Yang, thank you all. You're welcome." After hanging up, I changed my clothes and called Zhou Chao and Li Duo to come downstairs. Looking at the crowd on the playground, Zhou Chao said, "Almost every student from Jingjing is here. I think I see Principal Su. He's also in the crowd." Li Duo suddenly pointed in another direction. Lindsay immediately ran over. I smiled. "Let's go say hello to Su, who is not in the principal's seat right now, but is staying among a group of students. Such a major murder happened at Jingjing during his term, even if he didn't directly cause it. But I know, in the position of the Jingjing principal, the top priority is to prevent students from committing crimes. Jingjing can cultivate geniuses, but it can also cultivate highly gifted criminals. Although this isn't written in any document, it is an unannounced iron rule." The three of us greeted Suhua. Although he looked a bit tired, he still had his energy. "You guys really have a keen eye. Just take a good look. This press conference today, will it become a joke in the future?" Suhua could serve as the principal of Jingjing, not because he had enough seniority. My grandfather was the first principal. At that time, there was a lack of talent, so he served for a while. Now, the domestic police force is full of talent. Suhua may be old. Lindsay and I watched the city bureau officials take their seats. Reporters set up their cameras and mics. I smiled. No need to wait so long for the future. Today, everything will be revealed for what it truly is. Suhua looked at me in surprise. Then, a look of intense joy appeared in his eyes. "What? You've already found them?" A few of us nodded simultaneously, but my eyes were also searching around. When I saw that familiar figure appear, I walked over. "Senior, you're here. Do you want me to find you a seat?" Guijie shook her head with a smile. "Students from the police academy aren't that delicate. I'll just stand here with you and wait for the verdict." "Yeah, it's just that I never imagined a cafeteria worker could do such a thing." I sighed. Who could have thought? Maybe the environment here is just too nourishing. Spending every day with a group of police geniuses, through constant exposure, they eventually succeeded. A truly skilled criminal is someone who is clearly the killer, yet people find it hard to admit. Guijie seemed to be sighing. I asked meaningfully, "That's well put, Senior. I've always believed the killer is often hidden in those places where we always feel it's impossible." Guijie turned to look at me then, as if she wanted to say something, but an official from the city bureau on stage had already said hello twice into the microphone. Hello, dear friends from the media. Hello to all teachers and students of the police academy. I am Li Lixing from the city bureau. There is only one matter to be announced at today's press conference, which is the case report regarding the 901 rooftop body disposal case and the 903 woodland body disposal case. After Li Lixing spoke, a reporter immediately asked, "Deputy Director Li, these two cases at the police academy have recently caused a huge sensation on major web portals. May I ask, before today's press conference, has the killer been arrested? If so, will the killer's identity be revealed today?" To the school leaders of the academy, it is reported that 2 cases occurred at the academy. Is it true that the former principal resigned to take responsibility? Deputy Director Li and school leaders, the cases have resulted in 3 deaths, causing a significant social impact. May I ask the academy how it will prevent such murders in the future? Reporters were almost scrambling to speak. Deputy Director Li, clearly the leader on stage, made a gesture to the reporters. "Everyone, please be patient. I will answer slowly. Since these cases occurred, Secretary Liu of the Municipal Committee and Director Zhao of the City Bureau have attached great importance to this, especially our Director Zhao Qingyang, who barely slept for 3 days and nights for this case. Fortunately, hard work pays off. The real killer is indeed as everyone expected, hiding within the police academy. From the victims Yang Shu, Shu Hai, and Wu Yao's bodies, ironclad evidence of long-term chloramphenicol use was extracted, and last semester, Yan Shu, Chu Hai, and Wu Yao's meals contained long-term poisoning by cafeteria worker Fan Yen. After discovering this lead, our bureau carried out a meticulous and patient plan, and finally succeeded in capturing Fan Yen. Deputy Director Li's speech was rhythmic and passionate, but the reporters weren't fools. Someone asked, since he had already poisoned them, why did he then, at the end of the holiday, cruelly murder the three, including Yang Shu? Because Yang Shu and the other two were graduates of the previous class. The chloramphenicol toxins accumulated in their bodies weren't yet lethal. Before the poisoning, due to some trivial matters, Fan Yen had been beaten by the three of them, so he harbored a grudge. He couldn't wait any longer, which is why, during those 2 days of the holiday, he murdered the 3 students separately. The motive was sufficient. The time of the crime was established. Even the reason for the crime was explained clearly. The reporters stopped talking. A look of apprehension appeared on all the students' faces. They also eat cafeteria food every day. Who knows if they accidentally offended Fan Yen and were poisoned? There was some unrest among the students. The parents of the 3 victims were weeping inconsolably. But no one saw that I grabbed Guijie's wrist at this moment and walked forward. Her eyes were reddened. Her face was full of sorrow. But when she felt my hand, she was momentarily stunned. Before she could ask what I was doing, she heard me shout toward the stage. Deputy Director Li, Fan Yen only committed poisoning. Who told you that he was the killer of Yang Shu and the